Well, good afternoon and welcome here to Guiseley AFC Radio. We are at Prenton Park, the home of Tranmere Rovers. The first time these two clubs have ever faced each other, and from different directions they have come. Tranmere, who came into the National League last season after being relegated from the Football League for the first time in their long history, and Guiseley, who finally made it up there for the first time in our history. And these two clubs meet for the first time this afternoon. We've had plenty of firsts this afternoon, this season, and this is another one of which Guiseley face this time probably the largest ground that we've played in competitively. We, of course, we faced Stockport County last season as well, in league competition anyway. We face a very, very stern task this afternoon. I'm Colin Robertson. Alongside me here for this afternoon's commentary is Chris Bell. Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon, Colin.
Very tough ask, isn't it, for the Lions this afternoon? But this is this was the fixture that I'm sure many sides in this division had on their cards that they were looking forward to a visit here this season. Hard, isn't it, if you're in Tranmere Rovers' perspective, that everyone's enjoying their day out at your ground. But
everybody apart from yourself.
When we looked at this fixture, we thought, crikey, you know what? We're on a par now competitively with Tranmere Rovers, and here we are today. Yeah,
absolutely. This was probably the first fixture I think that everybody looked out for when the fixtures came out. You know, the fact that, give or take 2 years ago, Tranmere were on the cusp of, looking at a playoff place to get into the Championship, and just to look at how far they've fallen is one thing, but also to look at how far we've come. I mean, here we are, 18,000 plus, all-seater stadium. We're sat right up in the gods here in the main stand at Prenton Park. It is absolutely extraordinary how far we've come. And what we've got today is an opportunity to take a bit of a scalp, and there is more of a chance perhaps than usual because of the way that Tranmere's season has gone. They've had a few blips, they've been very indifferent, they've had a couple of poor home defeats, I think, against Boreham Wood springs to mind as one game that they failed to win here at Prenton Park. So for little old Guiseley, we'll rock up. The players will be absolutely desperate to put in a good display and to try and upset the apple cart a bit.
And indeed, it would be upsetting the apple cart, but there is only 4 points between the two sides at this stage of the season, and we've had two back-to-back defeats. We've shipped 9 goals in both of those games against top sides. Cheltenham and Eastleigh have really scored a few goals against us in recent weeks, and so that'll be a concern for us, won't it? It'll be a concern for Mark Bauer, I'm sure.
Yeah, very much so. You would imagine it would be. 9 goals in 2 games is never acceptable, frankly. I know Mark is very keen to try and put that right. This, as we say on paper, isn't going to be the easiest place to try and put that right, but if the lads go out there, play with some confidence, with 1 or 2 additions that we've made in recent weeks as well, there's perhaps a bit of a new positive spirit. There's always been a good spirit in the camp, but with a couple of these players that have come in on loan and permanently in recent weeks, there's a chance there, and I think a newfound belief in the squad that we can come to places like this and cause problems to them and to get a result.
Well, this is obviously a great occasion for the Lions fans. Callum Ronan has tweeted us. It's his first ever away game today. He's taken a picture away to our left in the stand where we are sat. We're at the, like Chris alluded to, we're very high up in this stand here, right above the action that will be below us, and the Guiseley fans are going to congregate away to our left in a very big seated stand, and Callum Ronan is one of them there. He's enjoying his first ever away game, so thanks for the tweet. You can tweet us at Guiseley Radio. Just want to dwell for a moment though, Chris, before we get on to today. Last week we've had a few new additions for spells against a very good Eastleigh side, and let's not kid ourselves, that is an Eastleigh side that is really looking like a team that could and should be competing in the playoffs and possibly for the championship this season in this division. For spells in that game, we looked very bright in that first half in particular.
Absolutely, we suffered basically the same way that we have a few times this season. We had an excellent 20-25 minutes or so. That opening 25 minutes, we were on top. We had a lot of the possession. We dominated the play. How many times have we said it? We just couldn't take any chances that came. We couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. And then before you know it, Eastleigh counter-attack from one of our more positive attacks. 20 seconds later, the ball's down the other end, crossed in, and there was a free man inside the box to put Guiseley ahead. You know, that has been a massive problem for guys this season, is when they've been on top is not actually making it seem so. You know, they're not taking the chances, not getting on the scoreboard. And I think 4-1 in the end was fairly harsh, because at half-time we could have gone in, you know, if we'd have gone in 0-0 at half-time, we'd have been kicking ourselves, you know, we should be ahead. As it is, went in 2-1 down. We still thought we could get back into that. The second half, though, Guiseley with a better side. They gave Mark Bauer's side a bit of a crash course in game management, to be fair, because they had the lead and they just made sure that we couldn't get back into the game. And again, when they had the chances, they took them. And that's certainly been the key lesson that Mark said this season, is how clinical sides are and how much we have to improve and be more clinical when we get the chances, because they don't come around that often.
One of the things that has been done this week is the signing of James Hurst from Torquay. Obviously, it's been a talked about signing because he's been released from the goals because of a incident he had at that club. But he's come here and promises to take in right back spot today. He starts in the starting lineup, and you know, we saw him in August and we thought a very, very impressive player. Obviously, joint top scorer at Torquay. Just what will he add to the squad?
Pace, a drive as well, because you know he doesn't mess about on that right hand side. You know, he's capable of playing at both at right back, as he'll start today, and that's where he started for Torquay when we saw him. But in that second half at Playmore, when we were down there, he really bombed forward. He pushed forward. He was putting a lot of dangerous crosses into our box. And for me, I've said it earlier on this week after it was announced that for me, he's probably one of, if not the best fullback I think we've come up against this season. He was superb, and he's somebody that is going to be a massive addition to this side. The fact that he was top goal scorer, though, as a right-sided utility player, was the top goal scorer with 7 goals this season, says quite a lot. He knows where the back of the net is, which for a winger or a fullback isn't the norm really, but it's something that I know Mark Bauer will hopefully, I think, be looking to him to help contribute towards.
Well, we're a little bit away from kick-off now, about 10 minutes or so. At the moment, there's a guard of honour forming from the, I think, the girls' teams for Tranmere Rovers. Of course, this is a day of focus on women in football. And Jodie Taylor, the England international, who scored that fantastic goal that knocked out Canada, I think, in the World Cup, that took us through to the semi-finals, and a highly rated Canada side they were too, and it was an incredible achievement from England's women's team in the previous World Cup this summer, and they are making a great guard of honour as well to welcome her onto the field just in front of us. So that's what you're hearing behind us. A good crowd gathering here at the ground, bitterly cold up here in the stands and all around. It's a real hat and gloves day. Perhaps the first one of the season, but as you can hear, they're giving a very warm welcome to Jodie Taylor, who comes out onto the field in front of us, and rightly so. A superb performance in the World Cup and a real inspiration. Let's just return now to the Lions, whilst all that's going ahead of us underneath us. Guiseley have obviously got no changes from the team lineup, apart from the introduction of James Hurst in place of Ryan Toulson. Toulson doesn't even make the bench today, so it's Stephen Drench and Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe's captain again. Jake Lawler, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Gavin Rothery, Danny Hall, Nathan Smith, Anthony Dudley, Oliver Norburn and James Hurst. On the bench, Dan Atkinson, Adam Lockwood, Wayne Brooksby, Tom Craddock and Liam Dickinson. No doubt, of course, perhaps the eyebrow-raising moment was when we saw that Adam Lockwood wasn't going straight back into that back line. Yeah,
I think it says a lot then about how, you know, despite conceding 4 goals, how pleased Mark was with that centre-back pairing last week. You know, it was, I used the term makeshift loosely, but in terms of what we've seen this season at centre-half, it was a completely new pairing. You know, Danny Hall played his first 90 minutes football of the season competitively, so it was untested as far as season goes. On the whole, I don't think they did too bad. They just came up against a clinical side that took their chances. I wouldn't really have said, you know, that pairing was at fault for any of the 4 goals. Perhaps somebody could have picked up the run for the first one, but again, you'd be looking at midfielder there to pick up the run that the Guiseley attacker made. So on the whole, it shows the depth perhaps as well, because Adam Lockwood, I suspect, after that suspension, might have looked at the side and thought, I've been a regular all season, I'll get back in no problem. And that hasn't been the case.
It was interesting because, of course, I seem to remember Lockwood and Hall having a great partnership, and I thought that might just happen this afternoon, and I fancied that was a potential opportunity. Obviously, Rob Atkinson being injured, he is a big miss, isn't he, for us at centre-half? He's been absolutely magnificent all season, and there's been a real rock at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it comes very, very close between him and Will Hatfield as to who's been the more influential signing so far from the summer. But for me, I think Atkinson probably takes it because he is the real head it and clear it kind of centre-half, the no-nonsense, get-rid, deal with everything that comes in, you know, a 10-15 yard radius of him sort of thing. He's got a good side tackle on him. He's a physical presence as well from set pieces. You know, he's got a couple of goals this season from there. So that is perhaps the loss that we are going to have from that situation. Danny Hall, whilst he's good in the air, he doesn't seem to have that physical prowess in an opposition penalty area that Rob Atkinson has. You know, I think we can all safely say that we wish Rob Atkinson all the best and a speedy recovery because he is a big loss.
Well, let's just look down this Tranmere Rovers side. Manager Gary Brabin has got plenty of quality to call on. Scott Davis, Stephen Jennings, the captain, Liam Hogan, Jay Harris, Gary Taylor-Fletcher, James Norwood, Andy Mangan, Martin Riley, Matt Hill, Adam Meckie, Steve McNulty on the bench, Ian Turner, Richie Sutton, Louis Maynard, Johnny Margetts and Ben Tomlinson. Pick the bones out of that one then, Chris. Who are the danger men?
Ooh.
And I'm going to say, who should we be watching out for?
How long have we got?
Some great quality in there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that you've got three strikers in the starting lineup in the form Gary Taylor-Fletcher, Andy Mangan and James Norwood says a lot about the squad and about what Tranmere want to do. They don't want to be in this league as, you know, for as little time as possible. Of course, they've got aspirations of getting themselves back into the Football League. To have somebody like Gary Taylor-Fletcher in the lineup. Now, I know about his move, the fact that he's a local lad. He was released by Leicester City, though. This is Premier League Leicester City last season. And yeah, he's a local lad and he wants to play games. But it says a lot about him, actually. I think that he's prepared to drop four divisions from the Premier League to come down here. He knows where the back of the net is. Yes, he's 34, 35 years of age. But at this level, that experience can count. In Andy Mangan as well, you've got somebody that has scored many goals at this level and above. On the bench, you've got Ben Tomlinson, who was Lincoln's top goal scorer last season. He moved to Barnet in the summer and has had a couple of loan spells out since. There is a lot of prowess in this Tranmere lineup going forward. And then at the back as well, Liam Hogan, an experienced centre-back for this level, and Steve Jennings, the captain in the centre of the midfield, who can dictate play. You know, the one thing for Tranmere is as easy as it is for me to say the credentials of the players they've got. They haven't done it on the pitch this season. You know, that's why they're 11th and not top.
Well, it's a good gathering now, the Lions fans who've made the trip from Yorkshire. There's a couple of flags away to our left, and the afternoon promises to be a big occasion for Guiseley as we welcome the two sides out onto the field. So welcome here to Prenton Park, the home of Tranmere Rovers, for this afternoon's Vanarama National game. Guiseley make their first ever trip here to face Tranmere Rovers in the Vanarama National. The Lions line up with Stephen Drench in goal, Danny Lowe, Jake Lawler, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Gavin Rothery, Danny Hall, Adam Smith, Anthony Dudley and Oliver Norburn and James Hurst. And on the bench, Dan Atkinson, Adam Lockwood, Wayne Brooksby, Tom Craddock and Liam Dickinson. The home side have an attacking lineup that includes Scott Davis, Stephen Jennings the captain, Liam Hogan, Jay Harris, Gary Taylor-Fletcher, James Norwood, Andy Mangan, Martin Riley, Matt Hill, Adam Meckie, Steve McNulty, and on the bench Ian Turner, Richie Sutton, Louis Maynard, Johnny Margetts and Ben Tomlinson. Pressure's been on the manager Gary Brabin for Tranmere Rovers to start picking up the points and making their way back into those playoff berths and challenging for promotion as they sit in mid-table at the moment. Just 4 points separate these two sides, but there is undoubtedly a gulf in terms of the status of these two clubs, and that will make a big difference in the minds of the fans here, and they expect to win this afternoon against a club such as ourselves who have been a perennial non-league team and have only just began to taste the top flight of non-league football this season.
Absolutely, it's like we spoke off air beforehand about the stadium, the fact that this could easily be a championship stadium, 18,000 in there, and the fact that later in the season a lot of these Tranmere fans will make the trip over to Nethermore, and we love Nethermore, we've got to, but for some of the fans of the clubs the size of Tranmere, it's going to be a little bit of a come down, isn't it? But it's these things, to be fair, that we look to make the most of as the underdog in, let's face it, most of the matches we play this season.
Don't forget you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio. We'll be keeping an eye out for your tweets. If you keep them clean, we might even read them out.
It's asking a bit much, isn't it?
Depends how the game's going, doesn't it? The referee's just doing the coin toss. Referee today is Carl Evans. He's assisted by Barry Lamb and Alan Bennett. The fourth official is Neil Pratt. No comment. And a crowd gathering and urging on Tranmere Rovers as we're about to get underway here at Prenton Park. Your final thoughts ahead of kick-off then, Chris?
Well, it's going to be, a big challenge. They all are at this level, but we've seen some of the results that have gone against Tranmere here. I don't see any reason why we can't be one of those sides to cause an upset.
Referee just counting the correct number of players on the pitch. The music dies down and it's down to business here at Prenton Park. Guiseley playing in all yellow, shooting from left to right as we watch. Tranmere Rovers in white shirts, white shorts and white socks, and on the attack, and get the ball into the box, and it's gone beyond the back line and straight into the hands of Stephen Drench.
Yeah, it was I think it was Adam Meckie who got in on the end of James Norwood's ball in, and he was able to flick it goal bound, not troubling Stephen Drench too much though, as he sends the ball back downfield all the way through to the Tranmere keeper.
I'll just get myself sorted out here. Sorry about that, Chris.
Sorry, it's a hat and gloves day. I've broken them out today, so I'm
So Tranmere chip the ball forward with Martin Riley, flicked on by Jennings, the captain, into the feet of Matt Hill. Plays it down the left-hand side, well tidied up there by Jake Lawler, back at centre half this afternoon for the second game in succession. And a good interception comes in from Gavin Rothery, tips the ball into the feet of Boys. Now, guys, he come forward with the ball played over the top by Oliver Norburn and shepherded back to the keeper by Steve McNulty.
Well, that's going to be one of the key battles for me from Guiseley's perspective, is getting Adam Boys in and around Steve McNulty, because I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he's not necessarily got the physique now of your classic centre-half. He's an experienced man, 34 years of age, he's coming from Luton, but he's kind of got that physical presence of a 34-year-old centre-half. And I think Adam Boys, and we know what he's capable of doing at running and chasing and putting people under pressure, he's got a good opportunity there with Steve McNulty to really give him some problems.
We'll keep up to speed with the scores in the Vanarama National and North, but at the moment the ball's just bobbling around at the back, and Guiseley have the ball with Hall. He's closed down rapidly by Meckie before Danny Lowe, today's captain for the Lions, clears into Tranmere's half, and Guiseley facing early pressure. Adam Boys chases the goalkeeper down. Scott Davis's clearance is high in the air, it catches on the wind a little bit, and then it's sent back to him by McNulty. This time Davis makes the ball work a little bit harder and it goes into the centre circle. Guiseley win it back, but it's swiftly closed down by Tranmere before the Lions win possession back here with Norburn onto the left-hand side from the centre circle out to Danny Lowe, just inside the Tranmere half now. Guiseley committing a few players forward here. Norburn looking for options ahead of him, goes back, gives it to Hall on the halfway line. Hall chips the ball down the left channel and it's intercepted and won back by Jennings, and Jennings lays it back to the goalkeeper Scott Davies, who in turns lofts it clear, chested down by Taylor Fletcher, and in the end an interception comes in, and it's a Tranmere throw inside their own half.
Well, the interesting thing to point out from Guy's perspective is it's Adam Smith on this right hand side and Anthony Dudley's down the left. Now I don't want to.
Quick free kick just taken there as a little challenge that came in from Gavin Rothery, and Tranmere tried to get the ball played into the box quickly, but it's safely back with Stephen Drench.
Yeah, I don't want to make you eat your own words, but I did mention to you earlier the prospect of Anthony Dudley being on that left-hand side, and you said absolutely no chance.
No, you didn't at all. There's just a challenger on Taylor Fletcher up against Danny Hall. Taylor Fletcher goes down to the ground. And I'm going to pick you up on that one, Chris, in a minute. The ball goes back to Stephen Drench. I said there's no chance of Smith being out on the left-hand side. And indeed, he is on the right. And Hurst takes one of his first runs down that right flank. Hopefully we'll see plenty more of those. But it's cut out and back to the goalkeeper Davis. His clearance is chested down by Taylor Fletcher. And then into the feet of Jay Harris. Matt Hill now just on the left flank on the halfway line. Harris crossfield. And Dudley intercepts that one well, just anticipates the ball, but he's swiftly cut out by McNulty. And it's into the feet of Meckie, Adam Meckie. On the attack now as he gets to the edge of the penalty area. Tries to thread the ball through to James Norwood. Former Forest Green man couldn't get there, and Guiseley come away with the ball, and Hurst chips it down the right flank up towards Adam Boyes. Good flick on from Boyes, but there's nobody in support with him. McNulty collects, and it's played down that left hand side with Matt Hill in towards the feet of Norwood. Norwood gets a touch on it, but Lawler's in good position and can just watch the ball go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, there was no real danger there as Tranmere were looking to come forward yet again. We've got just over 5 minutes gone.
All the goals in the north so far, and it's Alfreton 0, Boston United 1. Solihull and Gloucester still 0-0. Actually, it was a correction to that scoreline. North Ferriby 1, Fylde 0, and Bradford Park Avenue 0, Hensford 1. Avenue had a snow-covered pitch, you were telling me, Chris. Oh, meanwhile, Tranmere, by the way, have just picked up the ball here. Taylor Fletcher plays a lovely 1-2 and goes for the return. A great tackle comes in from Jake Lawler on the ground to deny the former Premiership star from a clear sight of goal. And in the end, the ball goes all the way back to Davis in the Tranmere goal. And he floats the ball into the Guiseley half. And Tranmere again pick up possession. And again to attack, this time with Taylor Fletcher, who's in the thick of things early doors in this game. Hurst now under pressure, he's robbed by Jay Harris, but gets the ball back to Stephen Drench. And Guiseley clear up to the halfway line. Adam Boyes goes for the aerial challenge. Looks like he might have had a push in the back there, but nothing given from today's referee, Carl Evans. And it's with Davis once again. His clearance goes into the Guiseley half, flicked on by Taylor Fletcher, flicked away by Danny Boschel. This Guiseley having to do quite a bit of defensive work this afternoon. Matt Bauer did say that he wouldn't go to get bodies behind the ball. He would have to play our usual game of attempting to get the ball down and pass. At the moment, though, we're now on the counter-attack. It's a good rob from Dudley. Finds Boyes. Dudley clean through and goal. Can he beat the goalkeeper? Great save. Hurst with the follow-up. Hurst has a chance to score. Great save again from goalkeeper Davies. As Guiseley came closest to opening the scoring there. They're still on the attack, though, now. And Dudley has the opportunity to find Hurst on the right-hand side, but he's beaten away to it by Matt Hill. And then there's a chance for a counter-attack for Tranmere. But Guiseley almost capitalising early on in this game, when Anthony Dudley robbed the defender, played the ball into Boyes. Boyes returned the pass to him, but on that occasion it was excellent goalkeeping from Scott Davies on two occasions there to deny the Lions a early lead in this game.
Yeah, and there was Adam Smith as well, who was chasing up and keeping an eye on the action. Going to see, I think, Hurst and Smith 33 and 36 on the back of the shirts overlapping quite a lot with one another on this right hand side. A completely new right side to what we started the season with.
Danny Boschel battling in midfield now. Guiseley with a bit more belief. Boschel gets the ball down, chests it and keeps it away from Stephen Jennings in towards Adam Boyes. Boyes battling on the ground up against Riley, but then it's played back by Jennings to the goalkeeper, who was called into action just a couple of moments ago to deny Anthony Dudley and Hurst. James Hurst almost scoring on his debut, but Guiseley, who've had the best chance after being under pressure in this opening 7 or 8 minutes. They now are under pressure again. Good tackle comes in from Harris. He finds Taylor Fletcher on the edge of the 18-yard box. Guys, he crowd him out. Gavin Rothery steps across to take the ball away from him in the end, and then Hurst down this right-hand side. Chips past 2 and is caught by Harris. But just a sight of James Hurst running down that right-back position. And it was promising, wasn't it, there?
It was very much so. As I say, both of those right-sided players, with having someone like Adam Smith as well, and Hurst, 7 goals this season. There's a lot of problems to cause with our right-sided players, and we've seen a little bit of, not indecisiveness as such, but frankly just not being entirely organised, I think, at the back from this Tranmere side.
And they're up it again. So they've actually got themselves in a bit of a mix. The ball goes back to Davis. Danny Lowe up from left back was charging down to try and close the goalkeeper down, but guys, he win the second phase. Dudley plays it in towards Boys, but this time McNulty is too wily for that pass and cuts it out. And now Tranmere on the right-hand side, moving down that right flank, well, with Mecki, who plays the ball forward, picked up by Mangan, and he's intercepted by Jake Lawler, who gets his body between the player and the ball and makes sure it's shepherded out for a goal kick.
Yeah, and got a warm round of applause from the travelling Guiseley fans as well, as he was shepherding the ball out just in front of them. They've come across in a good number.
0-0 if you're just joining us. In fact, if anything, despite the early Tranmere possession, the Lions have had the best chance, and really should be a goal up after an interception from Anthony Dudley. Almost led to him being cleared through on goal. But guys, are now under a bit of pressure here with Danny Lowe's pass back too heavy for Stephen Drench, and it's going to be Tranmere's first corner of the match.
Yeah, it was a particularly heavy pass back from Danny Lowe. He was being put under pressure though, so I think Lowe was just trying to get it back as quickly as he possibly could. In the end, it was just too quick and too heavy for Stephen Drench to control, and it's out for a first corner of the game.
Mecki will take this one on the right-hand side as they attack the Guiseley goal. There are plenty of white shirts in that box to aim for, 6 in total. It's up towards the penalty spot, flicked on and headed towards a goal there by Andy Mangan inside the 6-yard box, but comfortable for Stephen Drench because he couldn't direct the header to the side of the goalkeeper, and it was a good height for Drench, and the danger passes.
Yeah, he did well there, Stephen Drench. He watched that all the way, and his positioning spot on just to catch that easily.
Ball's won up again here by Norwood, and he plays a beautiful ball to the right-hand side as Tranmere attack against Danny Lowe with Mecki. Mecki gets a great cross into the box. Stephen Drench plucks the ball out of the air after Taylor Fletcher makes a connection on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the home fans now sensing blood getting behind their side. Yeah,
another similar header to the one we saw a couple of moments earlier. Thankfully for Guiseley, both the headers that have come in have been floated rather than a drilled header.
Danny Lowe wins the ball for Guys. It's up towards Boys. The flag is up though, and to be fair, I think Boys might just have had a yard on the defender.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of us being this high up. We can see these kind of decisions a little bit more clearly.
Not impartially, I must admit. The ball's won now on the halfway line by McNulty. He lays it into the feet of Jennings, who's passed back to Martin Riley in the back line for Tranmere as they just enjoy a bit of patient possession and build-up. McNulty eventually goes forward. Taylor Fletcher lays it back to the centre-half, who chips it in towards the left flank, and this time it's a mistimed pass, and Guiseley will win the throw.
Yeah, he was looking for James Norwood, the number 10, who's pulled out to this left-hand side. It is effectively a 4-4-2, although Gary Taylor Fletcher is dropping a lot deeper in than Andy Mangan.
Drench makes the clearance, and it's returned into Guiseley's half once again. Hurst does a big job on here. He's under pressure here from Taylor Fletcher. He goes to ground, and I think he's rather fortunate the referee decides not to risk it and give Guiseley the free kick, right back position.
Yeah, I think he'd realised he'd played himself into trouble, hadn't he? Thought about a couple of neat little touches, and then in the end, as soon as Taylor Fletcher was on him, realised he had nowhere to go, went down and gets the free kick for Guiseley.
The clearance from Drench goes all the way through to the opposite number. A couple of scores in the north. FC United beating Nuneaton 2-0 Brackley 0, Stalybridge 1, and one conference. Oh crikey, shoot me! Vanarama National scoreline. Listen to this: Dover 1, Barrow 0. It's a long way to go, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Dover's resurgence after a couple of dodgy results, perhaps underway. Tranmere have the ball on the halfway line. Guys are encamped in their own half. It's going to be this way, you feel, for a good long spell in this game. McNulty just looking to find the perfect ball forward. Eventually finds a ball, and there's a free kick given against Gavin Rothery, who does get the challenge in on Meckie, who was cutting infield from the right flank, but took a little bit too much of the player for the referee's liking. And this is a free kick that will be about 15 yards out from the edge of the 18-yard box, about level with the angle of the D, midway through the Guiseley half here. A difficult one for Tranmere to take, and perhaps for Guiseley to defend. The ball's chipped into the box, cleared well by Jake Lawler, chipped on by McNulty. Guiseley still under pressure here as the ball is picked up now by Jennings. Jennings into the box, but the Lions still unable to clear their lines. They do win the ball with Gavin Rothery, but they're still under pressure here. Norburn chips the ball forward, hoofs it forward into the Tranmere half, and it's returned to the goalkeeper Davies, who just narrowly squeezes the ball past Adam Boys to Martin Riley before the home side play the ball down the right hand side. Danny Lowe nods the ball out into touch, and Tranmere have a throw in inside the Lions half, and it's taken quickly to Taylor Fletcher, who shows a little bit of control before being held up by Norburn. And Taylor Fletcher indeed just puts his body through the back of Norburn, and it's a free kick to Guiseley.
Well, we've got 15 minutes on the clock so far, 0-0 here at Prenton Park, and I think Guiseley will be relatively pleased as this ball goes down that left.
It's
Too
a
long.
Long ball there for Dudley. And
nice idea though.
It was from Stephen Drench from the free kick inside his own half and down that left flank. It was always a little bit of a chase for Dudley. A little bit too much of a chase indeed. Nuneaton 1, FC United 2, Lowestoft 0, Stockport County 1. All those goals in the Vanarama National North. Keep up to speed with the goals in the conference as well. But at the moment, in the National League, I've done it twice now, third time I have to leave the building. And there's only one to report so far, and that to Dover. Guiseley on the ball with Danny Lowe at left back, sends it long up towards the head of Adam Boys, beyond him. Picked up here by Jennings. The captain, leading by example, plays the ball into the feet of Meckie and goes for the return ball, but Guiseley managed to get enough on it to hoof the ball clear. And then
clear.
There's a clearance that comes in that beats the stand, and we can see the ball on the roof of the Johnny King stand over the other side of the ground as it rolls down the back.
There'll be a couple of kids the other side of that stand waiting for a free present.
I'm tempted to get round there. Torquay 0, Lincoln City 1. James Hurst's old side trailing at home to Lincoln City, and Chester 0, Woking 1. Woking have had a woeful time recently, but a little bit of light for them there with a lead at Chester. Guys are now under pressure up against this Tranmere Rovers side, holding out 0-0 with 17 minutes on the clock. But Tranmere back inside the Lions half, and the pressure continues. Patiently, the build-up starts with Riley, who runs forward, makes some space, gets the ball to the left flank to Norwood. Norwood looking to get the cross up against Hurst. Hurst just checking Norwood's run, but not making the challenge. They're both dancing around the ball, and eventually Hurst gets the challenge in, blasts it against the Tranmere frontman, and Guiseley managed to eventually work the ball all the way up to the halfway line. McNulty is in a running race with Dudley. He gets there with a few yards to make up ahead of the Guiseley man, and then the ball goes into the Lions box and is headed away by Jake Lawler. Picked up now by Norburn. Oliver Norburn playing his second game for Guiseley. He tries to put the ball into Hurst, and Hurst tries to run around round Matt Hill, and Matt Hill obstructs him, and it's going to be a Guiseley free kick.
Yeah, it was Adam Smith there, and what he tried to do was knock the ball around Matt Hill. And it's confusing, isn't it? Because they've both got 30-something shirt numbers. But Smith had tried to get round Matt Hill. If I'm completely honest, I don't think Smith would have caught that, even with his pace. Goes down, wins a free kick. We'll take that.
Smith and Norburn. They're all in their 30s, aren't they? The recent additions all around the ground, all around the ball at the moment. Smith, Norburn and Hurst. And it's going to be Smith who will take this one. Has 4 yellow shirts to aim for on the edge of the 18-yard box and floats it in towards a penalty spot, headed away by McNulty convincingly. Now guys, you need to watch out against this counter-attack as Tranmere come forward. Danny Boschel steps across, wins the ball back. Norburn and Boschel exchange passes, but it's a little bit tight space to play those sorts of balls, and it's picked out now by Jay Harris. Harris down the left flank. Norwood chests it down, goes past Hurst, gets the shot away, held by Stephen Drenchow. A very cool head from Drench. He watches the ball carefully and plucks it out of the air. And it was only a half chance really for James Norwood.
Yeah, he was tussling with James Hurst and wasn't entirely sure whether Hurst was going to commit and make a challenge, and then he didn't. Norwood got it under control and went for goal.
Guys, he get the throw midway through the Tranmere half on this right-hand side. And so Hurst will take this one. Looks for Smith ahead of him. Intercepted. And that one somehow improbably almost hit the roof of this stand here. Matt Hill's clearance ahead of Smith.
Not sure how he's done that. We're very, very high up is that roof.
It's impressive that he's just been able to do it as they wait to recover the ball from the crowd here in front of us. Not quite sure. It's hard to tell, but there's a good number of people in this stadium. The throw will be taken by Hurst in towards Rothery. Rothery is crowded out, goes to ground. Guiseley win the second phase up. Rothery's on the ground at the moment. This one's floated in by Hurst straight into the hands of the goalkeeper Davies. Rothery's on the ground and being booed at the moment by the home fans. The clearance from Davies is headed out by Hall, and Danny Hall concedes a throw, and it's a throw in halfway through the Guiseley half and taken on that right hand side and swiftly moved forward. Taylor Fletcher and Jay Harris on the ball inside the centre circle. They move it out to the left hand side. Norwood, the target man this time, offside just on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Well, it's a good mix of players that Wrexham have got here in terms of the experience, the likes of Taylor Fletcher and McNulty. You've got players that know this level as well, you know, the ex-Wrexham midfielder Jay Harris and James Norwood as well, somebody else that's very familiar with this level of football. But as it is, Guiseley, I think we've given ourselves a good account of ourselves, to be honest, this opening 21 minutes or so.
Weathered the storm.
Couple of closest hits, really.
Without too many really scary moments. And had a real chance to take the lead ourselves. And so, as you say, Chris, I think that's a very fair assumption. Norburn goes in for a very firm challenge up against Norwood. And
wow, I don't know how he's won that as how the free kick's gone for him.
Referee actually gave the throw. It wasn't a free kick. The two were stuck together, legs entwined after the challenge, and not much came of it. But Guiseley have to send the ball back to Stephen Drench, and Norburn into Jake Lawler, and the ever running from Andy Mangan, chasing and closing down that Guiseley back line, forces the Lions to play it back to Stephen Drench. It's picked up now by Taylor Fletcher, who chips the ball over the back line again. Hurst chases after the loose ball up against James Norwood. Hurst wins it, but has to put it out into touch, and it will be a Tranmere throw, about level with the penalty spot on the left hand side.
Yeah, he's been put under pressure there. So the throw is taken quickly.
It's taken short here, given to Hill. Hill crosses it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Danny Lowe. Still not clear though. Norburn gets a header, only as far as Jay Harris, who swipes a foot at it. It's such a poor shot, it eventually trickles over the goal line out towards the corner flag. But he went for the power drive, didn't make a clean connection. It sort of skewed around and out towards the corner flag, and it's a goal kick for Guiseley.
I want you when the players are setting themselves up for that kind of shot in the mind. They've got the headlines there. This is going to be a screamer, and then that happens, and it skews a lot closer to the corner flag than to the goal.
2-0 to Dover now. It's Dover beating Barrow this afternoon in the Vanarama National. Guiseley 0-0 here against Tranmere, but that might change. Taylor Fletcher comes forward. He tries a chip from distance. He gets it wrong, and it's comfortably in the hands of Stephen Drench. And this is a little bit of a eye-opener. Gateshead 0, Halifax 1. Managerless Halifax. Guiseley now on the ball. Gavin Rothery chips the ball in towards the back post. And his first, Danny Boschel, who strikes it brilliantly and into the back of the net from the edge of the D. Would you believe it? Assistant manager Danny Boschel has struck a beautiful volley that beat Scott Davis. All ends up and into the bottom left-hand corner. Tranmere Rovers 0, Guiseley 1.
That's a terrific effort from Danny Boschel, the player assistant manager. Comes up trumps. He struck that so well on his right foot on the volley, watched it all the way, and Scott Davis, he was scrambling and couldn't get there in time, and that is an excellent way to take the lead.
What a strike from Danny Boschel, and the players, when they were celebrating, they feigned a shoe rub, James Hurst, for Danny Boschel's foot, because what a sweet strike that was. It was a magic strike from Danny Boschel after last week with that. I don't want to remind him of the two the miss it inside the penalty area when it could have been 2-2, but that one was a brilliant strike, and it's now Tranmere Rovers 0, Guiseley 1. Have we made them angry?
I was going to say, certainly put a bit of life into the crowd.
Guiseley fans away to our left, absolutely delighted at the moment. Tranmere Rovers home support is frustrated, trailing by a 0-0. They play the ball forward. James Norwood up towards Hurst. Hurst gets the clearance, a good clearance. Only as far as Jay Harris, though, inside the centre circle. Guiseley with that brilliant strike from Danny Boschel lead after 24 minutes. His strike hits the back of the net. Tranmere Rovers 0, Guiseley 1.
You can hear the unrest amongst his home support.
Just playing the ball, holding on to possession, Tranmere, not panicking, to give them their credit, to give them their dues. But the Lions win the throw nonetheless, just inside their own half on this right-hand side rather, as they attack. Hurst with the throw up towards Boys, headed away by Hill, picked up here by Meckie. He plays the ball down the right channel. He's caught late, I think, by Gavin Rothery, and it'll be a free kick to Tranmere Rovers inside their own half.
Well, 26 minutes gone, and we're a goal to the good at Prenton Park.
A long way to go yet, but has a familiar feel, actually. It's a little like the Stockport County games last season, but at the moment Tranmere are looking like they're going to get the ball into the penalty area. Actually, it's defended well and nodded back to Stephen Drench. Torquay 0, Lincoln City 2, as the goals start going in the Vanarama National. The Lions have got one this time. The ball that's sent forward from Stephen Drench bounces over Adam Boys and back into Davis's arms. The goalkeeper sends it upfield. It's headed clear by Hurst. Boys will chase this one. I think he was offside when the ball was originally played, but he chases back the pass back. And now they're claiming for the offside flag, but the flag doesn't go up against him because Boys closed down the goalkeeper. It's to no avail in the end because Tranmere defend it very calmly and get the ball, but they're a little aggrieved that the flag wasn't raised against Adam Boys. Guys, who win the second phase back anyway here, and they see it with Oliver Norburn. Norburn into Hurst. Hurst on this right-hand flank. Sorry, Smith. Smith curls the ball in towards the penalty area. I am so getting Hurst and Smith mixed up. That's what you get when you employ amateurs. The clearance from Tranmere up to the halfway line. Played down by Taylor Fletcher. Picked up now by Gavin Rothery with a bit of space to run into now. Can he find Boys? He can. Plays the return ball towards Rothery. It was just a little bit overhit from Adam Boys. He holds his head in his hands. He knows if he'd played a better ball, Rothery would have had a clear sight of goal.
I think he was losing his footing slightly there with Adam Boys, because I think in any normal circumstances he'd just tried to take the ball himself under control and get a shot off, but he was losing his footing slightly, tried to play the return pass.
Do tweet us if you've got any comments at Guiseley Radio. 1-0 to the Lions at the moment. We're on tenterhooks. The ball played into the Tranmere box. McNulty gets the foot onto it that clears, and then Danny Boschel is penalised for a push, and it'll be a free kick for the home side, who take it quickly, trying to get things moving now as they get back into this game. On the right hand flank, it's played up towards Taylor Fletcher, who times his run very well, gets into the box, plays it square, chance for a equalising goal, and somehow the challenge comes in there from Oliver Norburn just to put the man off at the near side. I think it was Norwood who was cutting in and waiting to get the challenge in, and Guiseley really survived the first real scare of this game and get the ball up to the halfway line. Gavin Rothery goes down under a challenge, free kick to Guiseley. All's well as it ends well, really, after that move.
Well, it was a really dangerous low cross from Gary Taylor Fletcher, who'd done well to get himself into a bit of space inside the area. And it says he pulled it back. It looked like a matter of time before somebody was going to put it into the back of the Guiseley net, but they've defended it well.
Hurst plays the free kick into the Tranmere box, and it's chested back very comfortably to the goalkeeper by McNulty. Eastleigh 0, Grimsby 1. Big game at the top of the table there. Corby 0, Harrogate Town 1 as well in the north. Tranmere moving the ball down the right hand side. Out comes Danny Hall. He has to tap the ball out of play for a throw. And Danny Hall's put his hands up. I think he's got a problem, Danny Hall. He's indicating to the bench, and I think Danny Hall has pulled his hamstring and is going to have to come off. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here, but Danny Hall has indicated he's got a problem. Guys, you have some defending to do at the moment. Adam Boyes manages to do it, though. Gives the ball to Danny Boschel on the left-hand side. They come forward. The ball chipped over. Beautifully flighted ball. Boyes on the edge of the area gets a half shot away. Hits the ground with it, and it's out into the hands of the goalkeeper Davis. Tranmere want to keep play going because they want to keep Danny Hall on the pitch. They come down this left-hand side with Norwood into the area. Gets the shot away against the shins of Norburn and behind for a corner. And there's great pressure on this referee that he should have stopped things, but Danny Hall is on the ground at the moment, and I think that is Danny Hall's afternoon go at an end, I would suspect.
It certainly seems to be the case. He was desperate for the game to be stopped so he could go down to look to either receive some attention as Martin Stringfellow comes on. On the bench, at least we've got Adam Lockwood. But this is, if it is as bad as it seems to be, then that is going to be a terrible situation for Danny Hall, because he's only played one full match last week. It's a nightmare situation. I interviewed him afterwards, and he said how delighted he was to be, effectively back fit. And here we are, half an hour or so into his second match, his second start of the season in the league. He's down with an injury, and it doesn't look good for him.
Well, Adam Lockwood was getting his top off. He's just waiting because they're stretching Danny Hall's hamstring inside the penalty area. It looks like quite a lengthy consultation going on between Martin Stringfellow and the Guiseley centre half. So they're just trying to see if, I think the question is, can he continue? Is it just a tweak that he can run off and stretch off? Well, I just feel that that's too big a risk. Frankly, I think he's got to come off.
Yeah, the key thing was as soon as he felt something, he was beckoning to the to Mark Bauer and to the guys in the dugout.
Danny Hall is up. He's going to have to leave the field whilst they take this free kick, and I think I can see Adam Lockwood getting stripped off, ready to come on. The sub's going to be made. Yeah. And Danny Hall, unfortunately, after Mark Bauer retained faith in him after a fine performance last week, despite the 4-1 scoreline, Danny Hall sadly has to make way early on in this game on the half hour as a pulled hamstring means he is brought on as a substitute. And meanwhile, Adam Lockwood just has to check his studs with the fourth official, and he will come on to defend this corner, and it's a corner to Tranmere.
It's not the most ideal situation. So have to reorganise quickly now that the substitute's on.
On the left-hand side, they will float this one in. There's bodies in the 6-yard box and on the edge of the penalty area. It's flicked in towards the back post, headed away. Only as far as Jennings, the captain, up against Rothery. Trying to get an angle for a cross. He's forced to go back. The home fans frustrated. Matt Hill sends it down the left-hand side, finds Meckie. Meckie has a run. This time at Norburn, gets the cross in. Boschel cuts it pass out with his head, but it's back here with Meki once again on the left flank, up against Hurst this time. A little bit of skills from Meki, he's forced backwards, and they're urging Tranmere to give him some support, other home fans, and in the end it goes back to Matt Hill. His cross, flicked up in the air by Jake Lawler, headed back into the penalty area, this time on the right hand side, and a good move now from Tranmere into the box. They get the ball into the 6-yard box, somehow it's kept out in a real kerfuffle in the area. Guiseley eventually get the ball away with Gavin Rothery down that left flank. As the ball rolled across the 6-yard box, 2 or 3 players had a chance to stab it home. Somehow it fell kindly for the Lions, but the pressure is still on. Tranmere get the ball back into the penalty spot, picked up here by Norwood. He takes a shot and it's deflected. The flag goes up, and despite the drive from the edge of the area from Mangan being saved by Stephen Drench, the free kick will be given on the penalty spot for Guiseley, and they can just take some time, reorganise themselves after losing Danny Hall to that injury. And that really could and perhaps should have been one each.
Yeah, 2 things first and foremost. That's possibly the best use of the word kerfuffle I've seen in commentary for some time, but that's exactly what it was, to be fair. There was legs flailing everywhere, and eventually guys got it clear. And secondly, for a few minutes there, the atmosphere had turned a little bit sour, and you just feel that if that's going to be the case, going into that final 10 minutes, it could be quite let's be honest, a horrible atmosphere.
Well, at the moment, Tranmere are still pressuring. They're getting very frustrated, the home fans, that they feel their side should be doing better in this game. Guiseley lead by a 1-0 at the moment. Poor ball from Meki, picked out by Lowe. Lowe plays it over the top. Adam Boys looking for the counter-attack. Takes the ball past Hill for a moment. Riley eventually makes the challenge against Adam Boys. And a great ball over from Danny Lowe. Adam Boys forces Riley to put the ball into touch, and it's going to be a Guiseley throwback level with a penalty spot on the left-hand side as they attack the Tranmere goal. And Danny Lowe will take. He's got Gavin Rothery in the box. Rothery holds it up, plays it back here to Lowe. Lowe's not got too much options ahead of him, gives it back, and in the end Gavin Rothery is up against 2, earns Guiseley another throw in that area. Yeah, kerfuffle. I felt like David Walliams there as we were describing that moment. The ball thrown into the area from Guiseley. It hits the arm of Gavin Rothery. Another free kick given. A little surprised about that, but Guiseley will win another throw.
There's nobody within 10 yards really, as you say here. He's forced to go back to Lockwood.
Lockwood then looks ahead of him, chips the ball down the left-hand side. It's headed away. Danny Boschel intercepts well and plays the ball into Norburn, but Norburn's surrounded by 3. It's a high level of fitness amongst this Tranmere side. The relative ability of them to close down in numbers high up the pitch is causing Guiseley problems, and they pick the ball up again here with Norwood, cut out this time by Boschel, who's having a super afternoon. He scored the goal, by the way, if you're just joining us. An absolutely brilliant strike from the edge of the area on the volley to give Guiseley this 1-goal lead. It's a very slender lead, though, against a Tranmere side determined after recent poor results to get back to winning ways. A nod on here into the box now, and a chance for an equaliser, but it's drilled into the side netting by Liam Hogan, who surged forward on the right flank, got into the box, but his drive just was the wrong side of the post for the home side's liking, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, he was a lot further forward than he'd usually find Liam Hogan there as he was coming down that right hand side. As you say, got into the box well beyond Danny Lowe and just smashed it just into the side netting. And for now, for Guiseley temporarily at least, Adam Smith and Anthony Dudley have switched over. Dudley onto this right hand side.
Jake Lawler, now you can berate me. Gives the ball to Hurst, and in trying to win the ball, James Norwood goes flying into the Guiseley dugout. He's released.
Shows the players though that we've got that capability to switch your right and left footers over onto the opposite flanks.
Guiseley take a throw down the right hand side and keep the ball in possession only just with Dudley, who plays it through the legs and back to Hurst. Chipped on by Rothery into the feet of Boys. Boys now to Boschel. Boschel plays the ball to the left-hand side, and Smith gets it. He's brought down, and the referee is going to bring a card out for the first time this afternoon against the man who made the challenge. I'm not quite sure who that was from this angle.
I'm not entirely sure. I know it was Danny Lowe that was bombing down that left-hand side. He knocked it ahead of him. The booking has come out.
And it is Nogan, Liam Nogan, who picks up the first yellow card of the afternoon.
That would make sense, bearing in mind that he's playing right back. So actually, yeah, when you think of it positionally.
But Guiseley actually have, the good news is Guiseley have a free kick as well. This on the left-hand side, and they've got 5 or 6 yellow shirts to aim for. It goes into the box, headed away. Danny Boschel goes for the seconds. This time he doesn't win it, and in fact Tranmere now have a counter-attacking opportunity in a half here as they come forward. Stephen Drench was out of his goal, ready to sweep up. Gavin Rothery did some good defensive work on that occasion, and Guiseley get the ball away. Adam Boys gets the ball in the centre circle, but he's closed down. McNulty lays it back here to Nogan, and back across his defensive line to Riley. On the left-hand side to Hill. The left back plays it in field, and this time Harris, and patient build-up again from this Tranmere side as they look to get back onto level terms before the break, and a good drive forward from Andy Mangan, who picked the ball up in midfield, took a swipe at it with his right boot, but it was well held by Stephen Drench.
Yeah, he was just trying to create something from nothing there, really. Andy Mangan did what he could, just to put it straight at Steve Drench.
Dover 3-0 up, by the way, against Barrow. We know how you feel, Barrow. It's not a great place to go. All that way. Adam Lockwood, meanwhile, just nodding the ball back to Stephen Drench.
All that way for nothing.
Gateshead 1, Halifax 1. Halifax had taken the lead in that game. Of course, Halifax Town currently managerless after sacking the second manager of the season. Darren Kelly only lasting 47 days. Guiseley 1-0 up here. 6 minutes to go to the break. And Tranmere on the attack once again, as they have been for most of this half. The ball with Norwood, James Norwood, up against Hurst. Hurst wins that battle, but at the expense of a throw.
Yeah, did well there. Did James Hurst stood up, made sure he got his foot onto the ball, not onto the man, and put it out.
Back here now with Matt Hill. Left back looking for an angle to get the ball into the box. He's right on the left-hand side. His cross comes in, headed away by Lawler. Hurst completes the clearance up to the halfway line. Once again, it's going to be another throw for Tranmere. And manager Gary Braben is trying to encourage his team to take it further up the pitch, but the referee wants to bring it back. Bauer and Braben just having a little disagreement on the position of that throw. Nonetheless, Tranmere don't make any headway, and the ball's all the way back with Scott Davies. He launches it forward, headed up in the air by Jake Lawler, flicked on by Gavin Rothery. Again, possession reclaimed by Tranmere Rovers. Guiseley again in their defensive shape. Taylor Fletcher back into the feet of Hill. Hill sends it long up to the edge of the 18-yard box, controlled well here by Jennings. The captain lays it off looking for Taylor Fletcher, who was urged to shoot originally, opted to pass, and that home crowd show their frustration on a very irritating afternoon from their perspective, trailing 1-0 here to Guiseley. Guiseley conceded a free kick just inside their own half, picked up now by Jennings. Jennings to the left-hand side to Norwood. Norwood cuts in field, played into the penalty box, headed away by Jake Lawler. Norwood again on the left flank, up against Hurst. Hurst has done well against James Norwood so far. Norwood trying to use a little trickery, crosses into the box, headed away, only as far as McNulty now. McNulty looks to pick a ball out again to ask the question of this Guiseley defence. We're battling hard to repel Tranmere's attacks at every instance at the moment. Matt Hill plays it forward, then gets the return ball, and then there's a little push gifted against Oliver Norburn, and a free kick to Tranmere about 15 yards up from the angle of the penalty area on that left-hand side, and a dangerous ball. Dangerous opportunity this is for the home side.
Yeah, very much so. Oliver Norburn was desperately pleading with the referee not to give the free kick against him. think it was probably just about a foul as we enter the final couple of minutes of this first half.
Free kick now to Tranmere on this left flank. It's going to be curled in this time by Mecki. Mecki plays it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Guiseley once again aerially sound as they head the ball away and eventually hoof it away with Norburn, the man who conceded the free kick originally.
I think the term hoof is very appropriate there.
Now throw for Tranmere, picked up here by Hill down the left flank, and it's picked up by Taylor Fletcher. Taylor Fletcher cuts in field, looks to get past one. He's intercepted well by Norburn, but Taylor Fletcher still going, gets it back into towards the edge of the 18-yard box as he cuts the ball back, looking for an angle for a shot. In the end, it's cleared, picked up now by McNulty, picked up now again by Tranmere as they still have Guiseley encamped. We're encamped inside our own penalty box at the moment. Picked up here by Taylor Fletcher on the angle on the left-hand side, up against two players. Has to go back. Picked up now by Matt Hill, who crosses all the way to the other side and up by the corner flag on the right-hand side as Tranmere attack. They go back here to Harris. Harris crosses towards the edge of the 6-yard box. There's a good ball in there. Guiseley just for a moment looks like they're a little bit stretched, but Hurst gets the clearance and Norburn hoofs it forward. There's nobody inside that Tranmere half to receive the ball, and in the end Davis just taps the ball into the feet of McNulty.
We just need to hang on, don't we? We just need to get to the break, one up.
Mecki now on a surging run down that left hand side, gives it to Norwood, takes a deflection back off Hurst. Guiseley can clear. Dudley on the ball, he's going to send this one long. Boys needs to work hard here to try and keep this ball live if he can, up against Martin Riley. Instead he makes the challenge and he puts it out for a throw. It's a throw for Tranmere. 3 minutes of stoppages to be added as we approach the break. 3 minutes probably because of that injury to Danny Hall, who had a hamstring pull in this first half and has been replaced by Adam Lockwood. So Guiseley forced into the first change. And the ball with Tranmere once again. Rovers play the ball up to the edge of the 18-yard box. Flicked on by Danny Boschel though as Guiseley repel the attack. They've got a few more minutes though to hold out. And it's down the left-hand side once again. James Norwood up against Hurst. Gets the ball into the box. Helped away by Jake Lawler, but he's put it behind for a corner. And this pressure is mounting. And Guiseley have got an awful lot of work, haven't we, to do in this game to keep Tranmere at bay. And once again, this corner will be another test.
Yeah, the pressure's been building for the last, 15 minutes or so, really. Gradually, they've been adding more and more pressure. The home fans have been getting on the back slightly.
Corner from this left flank. Guiseley defend it. It's taken short. And it's returned to the taker, Mecki, who crosses into the box. Hits the arm of Danny Lowe as the ball whipped in and was flicked on, I think, by Taylor Fletcher on the edge of that 6-yard box. Referee unmoved by the ball hitting arm. And Guiseley have another throw to defend against as it's taken this time.
Well, you've seen him given.
Well, we had one given, didn't we, the other week against Barrow. It seemed very soft against us, but on that occasion, referee's not interested in that sort of decision. The ball goes over the top here towards the left flank. Again, it's a great crossfield ball. Norwood chests it down, gives it to Mecki. Mecki, again, tries to use some of those silky skills, gets past Dudley, gets the ball back from a nice 1-2 onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Super challenge comes in from Danny Boschel. Corner's being given. Danny Boschel furious with the referee. He feels it took the last touch off Adam Mecki. It's another corner to Tranmere.
Yeah, great footwork from Adam Mecki and an excellent sliding challenge from Danny Boschel as well.
Corner again to Tranmere. Deep into stoppage time. 2nd minute of the 3. Tranmere to whip this one in up towards the back post. Stephen Drench can't get it. It's inside the 6-yard box. And I think it's Adam Smith who eventually hoofs that one up field. And Guiseley again under real pressure because it's returned back into the box. A chance for Taylor Fletcher, finds the back post. Super challenge this time from James Hurst. Somehow keeping that goal unbeaten. But we're still under pressure as we head just towards the break. Mecki inside the box. Great block from Hurst. Another corner to Tranmere Rovers. And somehow that challenge from James Hurst inside the penalty area has kept Guiseley's goal or Tranmere at bay.
It's absolutely staggering. It really is. What a challenge from James Hurst.
5 players to aim for once again as this corner comes in towards the 6-yard box, and it's flicked in, and you have to say it's been coming, but what a hard time to concede the goal right at the break. Tranmere Rovers have the equaliser, the ball whipped into the near post. Guiseley eventually flattened by the pressure of this Rovers side, and I'm not quite sure who grabbed the equaliser there, Chris, but it's now Tranmere 1, Guiseley 1.
Oh, what a disappointing time to concede. The thing for me, though, that's under question is Steve Drench's positioning, because as the ball came in, it went to the near post. He was a good 2 or 3 yards off his line, a lot further to the back post, though. And as the ball, was met by a glancing header, easy, like nobody there. The keeper wasn't there to get anywhere near it. Disappointing time to concede.
After great defensive work, Guiseley concede a very soft goal at the end, but it would be hard to say that the pressure had not been all from Tranmere Rovers for a concerted period of time, and the goal led a charmed life in the last 10 minutes or so of that half with a couple of last-ditch challenges. The whistle goes, and it's probably a disheartening time for the Lions to go back in, but it's been a super spirited performance from Guiseley. Half-time here, Tranmere Rovers 1, Guiseley 1.
Oh, well, it's going to be an absolutely heartbreaking time to concede, because, Guiseley will have been thinking that if they can get in at half-time 1-0, it would have been met by a pretty stagnant reaction from the crowd at the break, and that would have just added to the pressure on the Tranmere lads. But as it is, they've conceded at the worst time. For me, it was avoidable as well in that particular instance. Some excellent defending over the last 10 minutes or so beforehand, but for me, that was an avoidable goal.
Yeah, no question really that in the balance of play, Tranmere certainly merited the equaliser. That's not the real bugbear, but the eventual equaliser with the last action of the first half came from James Norwood, who headed home at the near post. A simple goal, and one that I'm sure will frustrate Mark Bauer after such a spirited first 45 from the Lions. Danny Boschel gave us the lead on 24 minutes. An absolutely superb strike from the edge of the D after the ball had been headed clear. Danny Boschel hit it on the volley, and it blasted it into the bottom left-hand corner of the goal. But then just before the break, after many waves of Tranmere attacks, James Norwood headed home from inside the 6-yard box, and it's Guiseley's heartbreak at half-time, despite the scores being level, and I'm sure Matt Bauer will be delighted with the scoreline, but perhaps not with the way the half ended for Guiseley. Let's just go through some of the half-time results whilst you have us. Leeds 0, Rotherham 0, where we look at the local football league sides. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Huddersfield 0, Scunthorpe 0, Bradford City 1. The Vanarama National League, Aldershot 0, Wrexham 0, Altrincham 0, Borehamwood 0. Braintree and Kidderminster was postponed earlier today. Cheltenham 0, Forest Green Rovers 0, Chester 0, Woking 1, Dover 3, Barrow 0, Eastleigh 0, Grimsby 1. Listen to this as a scoreline. 10-man Halifax are leading Gateshead by 3 goals to 1 now. It was 1 each, but Gateshead, after getting back onto level terms, have conceded 2 more goals, and Halifax have had a man sent off.
It's funny what sacking your manager can do.
Macclesfield 0, Bromley 0. Bromley next up for Guiseley on Saturday. Torquay 0, Lincoln City 2, Tranmere 1, Guiseley 1, Welling 0, Southport 0. In the National League North, the Vanarama National League North, Nuneaton 2, A.F.C. United 2. That's a full-time scoreline just about, because that was a 2 o'clock kickoff. What with the floodlight problems I think Nuneaton are having at this moment in time, they are kicking off early most weeks. Alfreton Town 0, Boston United 1, half times the rest of these. Brackley 0, Stalybridge 1, Bradford Park Avenue 0, Hensford 1, Corby 0, Harrogate Town 1, Curzon Ashton 1, Chorley 1, Lowestoft 0, Stockport 1, North Ferriby United 1, Fylde 0, Solihull 0, Gloucester 0, Tamworth 0, Gainsborough 0, and Worcester City 0, Telford 0. We're going to go off air for a few moments whilst we have a cup of tea, catch our breath. We'll be back for full second half action here at Prenton Park, where at half time it is Tranmere Rovers 1, Guiseley 1. Well, welcome back here to Guiseley AFC Radio as we get prepared for this second half of football from Prenton Park, where Tranmere Rovers and Guiseley are doing battle, and at half-time it's 1 each. And that after Danny Boschel had struck a superb goal in the first half for Guiseley, a volley from the edge of the D that flew itself into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. But after immense pressure from the home side, Rovers got back on level terms with seconds to go of the first half. James Norwood heading home from inside the 6-yard box. A simple goal, really, after Guiseley, who had defended so bravely against wave after wave of attack before the half-time break, were finally undone with a simple goal and a poorly defended one. And it means that the Lions have plenty of work to do in the second period, Chris.
Yeah, very much so. You know, I'm not going to have a go at Steve Drench, but for me, he could have been positioned slightly better when that ball came in. But as you say, a lot of work to be done. Tranmere will be up for this now. We've got to make sure we can see the job through and look to come away from Prenton Park with something.
Well, it'd be a great result, actually, if we could hold on for 1-1. It would be a good result. And I would, like I said before kick-off, I'd run away with a draw right now, to be honest. But there's another 45 minutes of football to be played, and this home side are anticipating a victory. There might not be a gulf in points between the two sides, but there is in status over this season's Football League that Tranmere Rovers have played. Guys who've been battling out in the lower echelons of non-league football, and now we're on the same stage. We're at our highest ever level and Tranmere at their lowest. Guiseley have got back underway in the second half and have the ball at the moment with Danny Lowe, and he's crossed infield to Norburn, who's under pressure immediately. Manages to find Boys, but that's Tranmere midfield recovers possession and gives it to Norwood, the goal scorer, on the left flank now up against Hurst and Rothery. Threads the ball between the two of them. Jake Lawler forced to blast the ball out into touch, and Rovers take a throw in midway through the Guiseley half on the left hand side. Norwood now again gets the ball into the box, finds Mangan, Andy Mangan into the area. Guiseley just managed to get enough of a touch on the ball to take it away from its intended target, but it's picked up now by McNulty on the halfway line. Adam Boyes chasing across, trying to win this back off Riley. He forces Riley into a poor clearance, and in the end Guiseley will get the throw in right back position.
Well, it is absolutely crucial that we start well, that we start, defensively solid. There can be no room for errors. We know that Tranmere are going to have to come out and look to attack, because at the end of the day, they're the home side. We've heard the crowd get on the back quite a bit when they were trailing. Yeah. So we've got to be solid and look to frustrate Tranmere.
Clearance now from Tranmere as they press down this right-hand side now with Meckie up against Lockwood. Plays the ball back here to Mangan. Mangan on the angle of the penalty area on the right flank. Gets it across to Nolan, who drills the ball through the 6-yard box. Nobody able to connect on it, and it goes all the way across to the other side of the field for a Guiseley throw. And it'll be a throw in right back position, but again another harum-scarum moment for the Lions.
Just a bit. Absolutely wicked ball, right-footed from Liam Hogan, and it went through that penalty area with such pace. It was one of those, a touch would have taken it anywhere. Guiseley get a little bit lucky perhaps with that.
Headed away by Hurst, and again Tranmere are on the attack. The ball on the edge of the 18-yard box, bouncing up into the Tranmere half now. Adam Boyes chasing it, nodded on, flick down here. Danny Boschel picks the ball up for Guiseley, plays it over the top looking for Dudley. Dudley tries to get it in between McNulty and the goalkeeper, but the experience of McNulty shows, and Steve McNulty heads it back to the goalkeeper and takes the ball back from him, plays it down the right channel, headed away by Lockwood, but Guiseley still can't repel these attacks swiftly enough. Meckie now on the ball for Tranmere, whips the ball into the penalty box. It goes beyond and is cleared by James Hurst, out for a throw-in for Tranmere Rovers.
I think James Hurst has had a fairly solid debut so far. I think Mark will be really pleased. He's put in an excellent challenge that denied a goal early on sadly it was the one that then led into the corner from which Tranmere scored from, but it was a superb tackle and it looked like the ball was just simply going to be tapped into a pretty much empty net. And he's looked relatively decent coming forward. He hasn't perhaps had the opportunity to get into the attacking position as much as he'd like.
Mecki now on the ball for Tranmere, cuts infield, lays it back here to Mangan. His ball effort is blocked, and then it bounces for Jay Harris, who in turn drills it wide, and it's a goal kick for Guiseley. A couple of goals in the Vanarama National North, who swiftly take you about. Brackley 1, Staleybridge 1, and Lowestoft 0, Stockport County 2, and 2 in the National League. And we talk about this at half-time. Cheltenham 1, Forest Green Rovers 0 in that big game at the top. Then Macclesfield 1, Bromley 0.
Yeah, didn't you tell me it was called El Glossico?
El Glossico, I think, yes.
But in all seriousness, what a game that is. I mean, we've seen both of those sides. We travelled to both One Road and to the New Lawn, and two impressive sides.
Tranmere now on the ball again, have it inside the Guiseley half, and we're starting the second half as we finished the first with the white shirts of Tranmere encamped in the yellow shirts of Guiseley's half. They get the ball away. Jake Lawler's given the ball short to Taylor Fletcher. He chips the ball into the area, and it's an ambitious attempt of a volley that is taken, but in the end I don't think Norwood was ever going to be able to hit target with that, and he's knocked it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a nice idea. Nice little chip ball into the path of Norwood, but he just didn't have the conviction when it came to striking the ball to really trouble Steve Drench.
Guys, you have the ball now in the right back position with Hurst, who lofts it forward. Dudley goes to chase. It's taken down now by Rothery, finds Boys, but Boys' touch gifts the ball back to Tranmere, and Tranmere can come down this right hand side. Mecki making a super run down the right flank up against Lockwood, pushed up from the corner flag. He's got bodies in the box if he can get in there. He runs into the area, skips past Lockwood, curls it towards the goal with the left foot, but it goes over the angle of the upright and the crossbar and behind for a goal kick.
Well, the crossfield ball out onto this right flank was absolutely superb, and then Mecki with space to run into, took it to the byline, came back inside, had the beating of Adam Lockwood, went for goal with his left, and it was just too high really. It was the right angle, probably would have gone in off the inside of the upright, but thankfully for Guiseley, too much on the effort.
1-1 here at Prenton Park. Tranmere pressing in the second period though, as they were in the first, to try and get a lead in this game. The Lions have the ball though at the moment with Danny Lowe to Danny Boschel on the halfway line. Boschel, the scorer of that goal, plays a rather ambitious ball forward, and it goes all the way back to Scott Davis. The Tranmere keeper rolls it out of his penalty area, lofts it upfield, intercepted by Hurst, high in the air, rather untidy clearance, taken down well by Norwood, but intercepted now by Norburn for Guiseley, and gives it to Danny Boschel. The Guiseley assistant manager plays it into the feet of Dudley, who feels he's fouled, but the referee doesn't agree, and Harris can take over now for Tranmere Rovers. Onto the right hand flank, Nogan into the area, put behind the upright by Norburn for a corner kick, but a last ditch piece of defending from the new midfielder for Guiseley, and Guiseley again will have to defend another Tranmere corner.
Yeah, again it was Liam Hogan coming down this right hand side, got the ball, and there was Norburn, who was the man to get his foot onto it to put it behind for a corner.
It's going to be taken by Adam Mecki. There are plenty of players again, some in the 6-yard box, some running to try and get towards that back post. It's played in towards Taylor Fletcher, and at the back post there was a great chance, but there was a flag that went up anyway against the Tranmere man at the back post, and Guiseley have a free kick inside the 6-yard box and a chance maybe to get a wee bit of a breather.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how you can. I think, was it a foul that he'd seen in amongst there, or was it an offside?
Offside, I think.
That's staggering. It was two yards in from the touchline.
Norwood, I think, was the man who was caught offside. A couple of quick-fire goals going on that game in the Vanarama National North between Brackley and Staleybridge. 2-2 now. Brackley taking the lead, and now it's an equaliser for Staleybridge to bring it back to 2-2. And North Ferriby 2, A.F.C. Fylde 0. A bit of a turn-up for the books there. Fylde going great guns in that division. Guiseley have the throw on the right-hand side now as they make a rare foray forward into the Tranmere half. 53 minutes gone.
It has been a rare foray, hasn't it, over this the last cumulative half an hour or so.
The ball's with Smith, who is trying to combine with Hurst, but Smith is forced backwards and goes all the way back to the halfway line. Good defending from Tranmere. Jake Lawler takes over. Smith collects the ball, looks for options. Goes back here to Lockwood. Lockwood and Smith get combined, and it's a good one forward to Adam Boyes, and a distance effort from Gavin Rothery on the angle of the penalty area from the right hand side. He tried an audacious volley. It was claimed by Davis and cleared upfield by the Tranmere goalkeeper, but this guy's still showing we can have a go at this Tranmere side on occasion. One each at the moment, and a throw to Guiseley in right back position.
Yeah, you do feel that the opportunities for the likes of Rothery and Smith on that right hand side to try and get forward to support Adam Boyes may be limited as this game goes on.
Tranmere, meanwhile, playing the ball back to Davis, and Boyes is chasing and running down the goalkeeper, almost closing him down. Davis times the clearance well and gets it up to the halfway line. Tranmere chip the ball up towards Taylor Fletcher. He lobs the ball over Jake Lawler before Lawler intercepts and clears, and plays it out for a throw-in for Tranmere, level with the penalty area on the left-hand side. Norwood takes it swiftly. It's given to the left-back, Matt Hill, and then returned here to Jennings. The captain holds possession. Tranmere again in possession of the ball and building up very patiently. Into the feet of Taylor Fletcher. Played down that left-hand side. Norwood now looking to get the ball into the box. He aims it towards Andy Mangan, who was in the penalty area. But Guiseley managed to make the clearance. But again, the ball comes into this final third, and again the Lions are in real trouble because McNulty goes through. He's tackled by Danny Boschel.
Tackle.
Big shout for a foul, but Danny Boschel timed that tackle to perfection as McNulty came forward and looking to break down the Guiseley defence. The Lions still under pressure. Meckie now on the right hand side, having to defend stoutly once again. Meckie gets the ball into the area. It's somehow battered away, but then a poor clearance from Danny Bosch. He just blasts the ball up in the air inside his own penalty area. Guiseley now encamped in their final third. McNulty on the ball here, looking to start another attacking move from Tranmere. Nogan on the right flank finds Meckie. Meckie right out at the touchline on this right hand side. A little bit of trickery, dispossessed. Dudley now looks to make a run down the left flank and see if he can relieve the pressure on Guiseley. Who knows, create a counter-attacking movement. Dudley with three around him, lays the ball to the left. Adam Boyes goes towards the angle of the edge of the penalty area, plays it across. Dudley in the box, goes past the man, but an acute angle, takes a shot, and it's saved at the near post by the goalkeeper. Guiseley win the corner. Great work there from Anthony Dudley, and it almost combined to perfection for the loanee from Bury.
Yeah, that's a really, really good little counter-attack. I mean, it was peculiar because it wasn't a counter-attack at pace by any stretch of the imagination. It was just carefully, comfortably worked, and it almost came off very, very nicely.
Guys are getting some bodies in. Adam Lockwood wanting it at the back post. It goes up towards that back post. It's over everyone. Drilled in by Norburn. Blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box. Brilliant effort. Smith takes over, takes a drive from the edge of the area, but this time no pace on it. And Guiseley almost catching Tranmere on a rare attack forward, but now have to watch out for the counter-attack because Davis launches the ball so swiftly downfield, almost to the very edge of the 18-yard box. Just goes to show what a wind there must be out there today, because the clearances from Scott Davis in the first half at some points were struggling to get out of the Tranmere half, and on that occasion almost went all the way to the edge of the D. But Tranmere in possession of the ball, still 1-1. 57 minutes gone here at Prenton Park. Norwood on the ball for Rovers. Lays it back to McNulty, who comes up to the halfway line. 5 looking for the ball. Tranmere really committing bodies forward. It's Gavin Rothery almost capitalising from a loose clearance, but Meckie robs him. A little bit slack from Gavin Rothery on that occasion. The ball coming down this left-hand side from Norwood now, up against Smith. Smith goes down under the challenge. Tranmere still have the ball, and it's Norwood on the edge of the area trying to climb by and makes it a nice 1-2, almost gets the return ball. Taylor Fletcher goes forward, tackled, goes out to the right hand side here with Nogan to Meckie. Meckie on the angle of the penalty area. Has to go back to Harris. Harris gives it here to Matt Hill.
You wouldn't think there's still half an hour to go, would you? The amount of white shirts that are flooding forward.
McNulty now on the ball. It is exactly this. It's a siege. Guys here facing the Alamo here. They're just really trying to defend. This time the ball comes over the top. No claim for a flag, as it looked like Mangan might have been offside. And in the end, Adam Lockwood managed to scoop the ball clear. Second face still with Tranmere. The ball this time rather tamely played into the box. And the Lions can take a breather because it's gone out of play for a goal kick.
Just calm it down, boys. Calm it down. Take some breath and try and take the pressure off for a few minutes.
The home fans in very positive voice now. Still 1-1 though. Couple of goals. Corby 0, Harrogate Town 2. Leeds United trailing 1-0 to Rotherham. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Huddersfield 1. Alfreton 0, Boston United 2 in the National North. McNulty wins the header from the goal kick. Heads it down the right flank. Adam Lockwood steps across. Andy Mangan, who was chasing after it, and makes sure it goes out for a Guiseley throw, but it's a Guiseley throw in left back position. And Tranmere Rovers playing a very high tempo game, closing the Lions down in the final third. And the Lions aren't able to get their lines cleared. Danny Boschel does this time though, and he finds Dudley. Dudley tries to go past McNulty. McNulty makes sure he steps between Dudley and the ball and plays it back to Davies, whose clearance again is long. Again, Guiseley managed to repel the attack. They pick the ball up now with Norburn in the centre circle. Nice 1-2, but Dudley's pass just doesn't find the right man, and Harris picks it up, finds Taylor Fletcher. Taylor Fletcher, a bit of space to run in on the edge of the D, plays it in, the flag goes up, and Guiseley will get a free kick. It was Andy Mangan who pulled off the marker well, but had just done it a little bit too soon, was a yard offside, and he did play the ball towards a goal. It was a good save, wasn't it, from Stephen Drench?
It was a great action save. I don't think Drenchy knew he was offside, and he did very well to get someone on that. But just listen to that now. What was, let's be honest, quite angry.
Frustration, wasn't there?
Frustrated moans. I think great voices. Tranmere, look, as we said, they're the home side. They should be going ahead. There's in and around 5,000 here is what they're expecting for this game. Probably say it's there or thereabouts when you look at this stand that we're sat in particular.
Well, McNulty just forced into making a clearance against Adam Boyes. It clips off Boyes, and it's going to be a Tranmere throw in right back position. You're right, they're absolutely buoyant compared to where they were in the first half, these home fans. Chorley 2-1 up now against Curzon Ashton in the north. It could have been us, yes. And Aldershot 0, Wrexham 1. Guiseley have won a free kick in the centre circle, much to the displeasure of the home crowd. 61 minutes gone, still 1-1, but it would be really only fair to say that it's been a very, very much an afternoon where Tranmere have enjoyed the dominant spells of play, and really it's been a backs against the wall job for Guiseley. But they've had a couple of moments on the counter-attack, and they're trying to craft out an attacking moment here inside the centre circle now with Danny Boschel. They've got players forward. Dudley plays a lovely little ball in, trying to just thread it through the defenders and allow Adam Boyes to run through the back, but it's well defended by Riley. And then another offside decision frustrates the home crowd against Andy Mangan. And Guiseley enjoying this little spell, just taking the pressure off after a concerted period of pressure from Tranmere Rovers. It's a free kick now. Stephen Drench is even daring to come up to the edge of the centre circle to take this free kick.
Well, I think we may see a substitute fairly soon. There is a man getting ready to come on in the Guiseley dugout.
Drench's free kick goes to the head of McNulty, who heads it straight back to Davies.
Thought he was going for goal then.
I know. Well, you hoped, didn't you? Yeah, I think it might be Liam Dickinson. Hard to tell from where we're looking. We're looking through the perspex of the dugouts from behind, and it looks like it might be Dickinson to me. We'll see. Guys, you have the ball again, and it's a lovely ball into Danny Boschel inside the centre circle. Now, can he find the pass going forward? On the right-hand side, there's some space. Boschel goes to the left, and it's an overly heavily hit ball. Dudley chases hard, earns the possession on this side, the corner flag, takes it past one, goes into the penalty area. Can he drill this back? And eventually the ball is cleared out from the 6-yard box after great work from Anthony Dudley. Looked like Danny Boschel's pass was overhit. Dudley almost stopped and gave up on it, but then he saw that it was still live, recovered it inside the corner arc, and then took it past his man, but couldn't deliver the pass that would find the attacking man. Danny Boschel's gone down. There's no free kick given. And Boschel's just clutching his knee at the moment, and now there's a counter-attack as Guiseley need to reorganise. I'm not sure what quite happened there, but the play seemed to stop as both sets of players anticipated a free kick. It wasn't given. Meanwhile, Tranmere are on the ball and patiently building up play, and then eventually going long down the left-hand side and finding Norwood. Norwood in a bit of space. He's got 3 ahead of him though. He plays the ball into the area. Chance here for a cross. It's saved by Stephen Drench. Not cleared. And then Taylor Fletcher, who really should have done better, hit it with some venom but didn't hit it with any direction, and it's past the upright and behind for a goal kick.
Whew, that was a little bit of a let-off there. A good counter-attack from Tranmere. And it looked as though Gary Taylor would have one of the easiest goals of his career, quite frankly. And that's some career to put it just into effectively an empty net. But thankfully he got that wrong. Liam Dickinson's still waiting to come on. It's not happening just yet.
I just felt that Adam Lockwood was absolutely furious with himself because he could have cleared the ball just before Gary Taylor Fletcher had the opportunity. He swiped a foot at it and it got away from him, and he hit mid-air. And the ball fell to Gary Taylor Fletcher, but Guiseley now trying to come forward themselves. Nogan sends it back though, getting ahead of Gavin Rothery to the goalkeeper Davies. Lockwood in an aerial tussle with Taylor Fletcher. That time Lockwood wins that battle. Stephen Drench collects the ball and sends a beautiful ball down the right hand side. Here Smith cuts in field, looking to craft out an option, takes a shot, takes a deflection, goes behind. Guiseley get a corner.
Yeah, on that occasion it was James Hurst that had come charging down that right hand side. But that's the thing though, that shows what Hurst can do, because he came in field so well there that you would have thought it was the natural right winger.
I am really mixing those two up today. Apologies. But the corner comes in from the left hand side, up towards the back post where Adam Lockwood was, but Guiseley weren't committing too many players forward. This time it takes a header away, and it's out for a Guiseley throw on the right hand side, which I must admit Oliver Norburn is not in any hurry to take.
Against the lesser opposition, perhaps you'd have expected more yellow shirts to come flooding forward there, but the way that Tranmere have been attacking and the pace they've got on the counter, I don't really think that we're in a position to risk it at 1-1.
Hurst and Norburn combine from the throw. Going back for Guiseley, all the way to Jake Lawler, who sends it all the way back to Stephen Drench. Drench then lofts the ball forward. He hits the edge of the D with his clearance, and that returns possession to Davies, who in turn plays it long and finds Norwood in the area, who takes a shot from the acute angle, and I think Stephen Drench just got enough on that to palm it away from the goal and behind for another corner to Tranmere Rovers.
Yeah, not entirely sure that Stephen Drench knew exactly what he got onto it, but there was enough to put it behind for a corner. But we are going to see that substitution.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? They're taking the substitution to take off Smith and replace him with Dickinson, even though it's a corner. Normally you don't change things at a corner. That was kind of one of those rules that when you're defending a corner, unless you absolutely have to, you don't tend to make the switch. But Matt Bauer wants to do so. Tranmere have a player down as well at the moment, so there'll be a slight pause. Time to give you a couple of goals, actually. Corby 0, Harrogate 3 in the National North. Tamworth 1, Gainsborough 0. Cheltenham 1, Forest Green Rovers 1. So an equaliser in that big game at the top of the Vanarama National. And Liam Dickinson coming on.
So, how do you see this shuffling then? Because it's a winger who's come off for a striker, so unless he's going to put boys out onto the wing, but he's been good through the middle, is he just going 4-4-2?
It depends what job Liam Dickinson's got to do. Possibly, like you say, 4-4-2, boys and Dickinson, but there seems to be a bit of a problem here for Tranmere Rovers' Martin Riley, who's really looking a little uncomfortable as he's coming off the field, and I think Tranmere Rovers are going to make their first switch. If you're just joining us, 1-1 here, 68 minutes gone. And it looks like Riley is going to be replaced by Louis Maynard. And Maynard will also make his way into the fray. So 2 substitutions ahead of this corner. And it's a corner from the right-hand side now for Tranmere Rovers. Meki to take. 8 in the area in white shirts. It's going up to the back post, headed away. That time good clearance from Hurst. Picked up now by Liam Dickinson, who nods the ball up to the halfway line. Anthony Dudley unable to get there ahead of the Tranmere defence. Stephen Drench, as the ball returned to his feet, he's forced to make a rather hurried clearance. Rotherham collects the ball inside the Lions half. He plays it crossfield to Norburn and then played up by Hurst towards Liam Dickinson, who's adjudged to have pushed the fullback.
That's a little bit soft for me.
And we're back underway with Tranmere in possession of the ball, as we've said an awful lot in this game. But Guiseley have won the ball back with a great tackle from Danny Boschel. Now Anthony Dudley with a good little bit of skill goes forward, runs straight into the defender, though he could have released it. He had Anna Boys to the right. The counter-attack now for Tranmere as they come down this right-hand side. Meki gives the ball here to Norwood in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Good tackle comes in again from Boschel, who seems to take a bit of a knock, and then that surely is a free kick as Dudley goes down. It's a clash of heads, and Jay Harris charged in to win the ball. He just arrived a fraction late, and there seems to be a problem. Is that Danny Boschel in the box? I think it is, and he seems to be struggling a bit after he went into a full-blooded challenge. He stood up to Norwood, didn't he? And
well, we saw him go down, didn't we, a little earlier on in this corner to our left, and it looked like a possible just clash of knees or something, and he's down again.
He's definitely got a knock, hasn't he?
Have we borrowed a physio? Because Martin's currently dealing with Anthony Dudley.
Yeah, fair play that. Just coming to see what's wrong, and
but the good news is Dudley's back on his feet. It was a fair clatter though, wasn't it, from Jay Harris?
There's looks like a bit of trouble there for Danny Boschel. He's hitting his hands with a little bit of pain. It looks like a lower leg, like an ankle injury maybe, or a calf problem.
Tom Craddock and Wayne Brooksby, 2 outfield options left on the bench.
How would you shift things around? It's difficult to see.
I'm still trying to, well, has he gone 4-4-2?
Well, we haven't. To be fair, what we haven't seen is
nothing.
We haven't seen any sort of passage of play that allows us to judge how Mark Bauer actually wants to go. And Tranmere are frustrated. They're saying, down there is Andy Mangan, who's suggesting that he should require a stretcher. Mangan's trying to encourage the home fans to chivvy on Danny Boschel off the field. Not his greatest moment, if you ask me, that from Andy Mangan.
Not at all.
But Danny Boschel eventually onto his feet. Not sure whether he's got a knock, but I think he's struggling as he hobbles off field. Guiseley temporarily reduced to 10. Dudley also to return to field after he got
surely the
head
fact
injury.
That the
Guiseley have got
physio,
9. Yeah.
You know, surely the fact that
it's all going to be added, isn't it? 18 minutes to go. Guiseley, 1 each though here at Tranmere. A really tough afternoon for the Lions, who are putting everything into this game, having taken the lead earlier on in the match. Tranmere have piled on the pressure. Guys, you've had the chances though. As it is though, it is the visitors who attack now on the right-hand side here. Throw just up from the corner flag on the right flank, taken quickly by Maynard. Given to Meki. Meki is dispossessed there for a moment by Dudley. And then a firm challenge comes in from Danny Lowe. Throw will be taken again from Tranmere's perspective. Maynard into the box, onto the edge of the 18-yard box. It gets the ball back. Crosses, and it's cleared by Guiseley. On the edge of the D now, nodded down to Rotherham. Rotherham gets it up to the halfway line. And Liam Dickinson on his own on the edge of the centre circle. The ball's played forward now. It's Tranmere get it into the box, and it's hammered at the goal, but hits the side netting on that left-hand side. I think it was Matt Hill who'd come forward, and in the end it's a rather comfortable passage of play for Guiseley too.
It was neither a good cross or a good shot there, was it?
No, it's rather hurried, and probably a sign of the frustration now that Tranmere are just beginning to sense. They haven't broken down the Guiseley goal after all the pressure as we head to the last quarter of an hour. Danny Boschel chips the ball forward, finds Gavin Rothery, who is fouled, and Guiseley get a free kick some 30 yards from goal. And
you know who's picking this one up?
Liam Dickinson. There's a chance of Dicko that can be hit even here in the press box from the Guiseley fans away to our left. And Liam Dickinson will step forward to take this. There's a 3 or 4 man wall, isn't there, in front of him? It's about 10 yards away from the edge of the D, about where the D touches the edge of the penalty area. Dickinson does take it, he drifts it in! Oh, and it's just wide of the goal, and the Guiseley fans thought it had gone in. It was a super strike from Liam Dickinson, just wide of the upright, hit the side netting, and for a moment it looked like it had nestled into the back of the net.
That would have been wonderful.
Tranmere now on the counter-attack. No time to contemplate that though, because Rovers are pressing now with Mecki on the right flank. Curls it into the back of Danny Lowe. Guiseley lose possession. Gavin Rothery is brought down. Frustration from Andy Mangan. And Guiseley get the free kick.
It's kind of got that feeling, hasn't it? You know, with the crowd and with the clear passion that Andy Mangan's showing, that one slightly iffy tackle and there could be something in this game that might just add a certain bit of spice to it.
Well, it's a real battle, a real entertaining game, I think, from our perspective. It's been very good, and I'm sure the neutral would say so too. Guiseley took the lead. Tranmere equalised on the stroke of half-time. Tranmere have had the lion's share of possession and attacking play. Ball boy just down there, just didn't quite return it. And it's a throw-in for Tranmere in right-back position. Let's just go through a couple of scores. Stalybridge now leading 3-2 against Brackley in the Vanarama National North. Brackley had led 2-1. Worcester 2, Telford 0. Telford's woes continue. And now it's Torquay 1, Lincoln City 3. Tranmere send the ball over the top. Stephen Drench is out of his area, and he's rather forced into a hurried clearance. He hits it high in the air. Danny Lowe keeps the ball live. And Guiseley with Oliver Norburn going backwards under pressure from Tranmere. Norburn is fouled by Gary Taylor-Fletcher, and a free kick to Guiseley it will be.
Yeah, good footwork from Oliver Norburn. Was trying to find himself a little bit of space, and then as Taylor-Fletcher came across to close him down, he was certainly caught by the Tranmere striker.
Andy Mangan now complaining about the position of the ball. I think he's really feeling the frustration. He's shown a bit of frustration recently. Guys, get the ball forward. Gavin Rothery into the penalty area, half snip of a chance there. 4,352 today, 113 Guiseley fans. Tranmere now on the left-hand side. Coming forward, 3 in the box to aim for. It's well worked by Norwood, in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, over everyone. Picked up on the right flank as they attack. Laid back by Maynard into McNulty. Flick on is defended anyway well by Guiseley, and now Liam Dickinson inside his own half goes down, but Danny Boschel keeps the ball ticking over, gives it now to Gavin Rothery. Rothery swarmed by white shirts for a moment, is unable to go much further, but does invite the challenge from Louis Maynard and does give Guiseley a throw-in. Bradford Park Avenue have an equaliser against Hensford. Bradford Park Avenue 1, Hensford 1, and Altrincham taking the lead at home to Boreham Wood. 1-0 there, still 1-1 here. There's a matter of 13 minutes to play, plus stoppages. And Guiseley having to do really hard defensive duties this afternoon against a Tranmere side full of quality and full of belief that they should be turning over the Lions with some ease. But at the moment it's still 1-1. The ball on the right-hand side to Mecki. Mecki cuts in field. He kills it in with his left foot. Headed away by Danny Boschel. Picked up now by Maynard. Maynard to the right flank. Mecki in there again on that right-hand side. Kills it in towards the back post. Stephen Drench watches the ball as it arrives inside the 6-yard box. Claims it. And Guiseley will just take the time. Just take our time as we calm things down and clear the ball. Still looks like a 4-2-3-1. We were talking about the formation. Boys looks to be on the right-hand side now of the three. And the ball's over the top now, again down that left-hand side. This time Norwood is offside. It looked very tight from where we were. But we'll take that one. And looks like we're going to have another substitution. Chris waving furiously. Tell us about it, Chris.
Yeah, it's Wayne Brooksby who is going to come on. Perhaps Adam Boys. Although it looks like a double-digit number.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought Adam Boys would be the man to come off. It's an interesting conundrum, this actually, as to who will come off. Wayne Brooksby and Tom Craddock were the two remaining outfield players.
It's Anthony Dudley.
Dudley perhaps has run his socks off this afternoon and doesn't have.
I don't know why he's getting booed.
No, he's just strolling off the pitch, isn't he? And they're frustrated at the time being used up. Guiseley have made their three substitutes now, with Wayne Brooksby coming on now for Anthony Dudley.
So you'd think like for like operating on the left of the midfield of that attacking three.
Let's see what Wayne Brooksby can do as he takes up that position, as you say, Chris, on that left flank. Ball up towards Dickinson. Tranmere clear. Norburn collects the ball in midfield. He and Danny Boschel combine, but the intricate passing move doesn't work for Guiseley, and the ball's returned to Tranmere. A long ball forward from Rovers, intercepted by Adam Lockwood, taken down now by Brooksby, who plays it back to Lowe. Lowe chips it up to the halfway line. Nodded on by Harris, picked up by Danny Boschel, into the feet of Dickinson. Dickinson spins on the ball, up against Riley, plays it forward. Nogan, rather. And it goes back to the goalkeeper, Davies. Davies' clearance hits Meckie on the right flank. And Brooksby has to try and win this one back. Works hard to try and press the Tranmere Rovers players down that right flank. And Maynard is forced into a hurried clearance. And the ball spins back to the Tranmere goalkeeper, who claims just ahead of Adam Boys.
Yeah, Boys and Dickinson kind of switching over, aren't they, between the striker and the right midfielder role. When one comes forward, the other one drops in on that right-hand side. All three changes made as well, with 9+ added time to go.
Now Tranmere coming forward again with Gary Taylor-Fletcher on the right-hand side. He crosses the ball up towards the back post, this time easy for Stephen Drench. And Drench will take his time. Rolls the ball out well here to Hurst, who comes forward and is blocked in his run. And the throw-in is given to Tranmere. That just looked like it might have been an obstruction, but referee not interested. Referee, to be fair, Carl Evans, I think, has had a good game this afternoon. Who has only produced one yellow card so far. The ball over the top now here for Tranmere as they get the ball into the area with Norwood. Norwood forced back well by Jake Lawler, but the second will be returned into the box, this time in the header towards goal. Goes beyond everyone. It's going to be a goal kick. And the home fans feel that there was a shout for a corner, but the referee doesn't agree. And still, we have 9 minutes to play. Surely it's full time. Surely.
Oh, we can't be far off. If we can... It's a massive if, because of the amount of pressure that Tranmere have been, throwing at us, to be honest. But if we can come out of this with a point, it'll be a very, very hard-earned point.
It'd be a tremendous performance. And Wayne Brooksby now trying to work down that left flank, trying to whip the ball off McNulty. McNulty does enough just to keep the ball away from Brooksby and win the throw.
It's like trying to get around a block of flats when Steve McNulty's in front of you.
You say that now whilst he's a good 40 feet away from you and can't hear you. Throw goes in for Guiseley, who win the throw, and they give it to Gavin Rother. He tries to do something with it. He chips it up in the air past three players, but he's got far too much to do. He eventually commits a foul against McNulty, and the free kick is given to Tranmere Rovers. Let's just give you another score update. Alfreton 1, Boston 2 in the north. Gateshead 1, Halifax 4 now. Halifax are playing with 10 men at half-time. Something going on there. Macclesfield 2, Bromley 0, and Sheffield Wednesday 1, Huddersfield 1. Oh, Curzon Ashton 4, Chorley 2 now. The free kick is taken by Davies inside the Tranmere half, sent long to the right flank. Guys, he defend it well enough. Wayne Brooksby, full of energy and drive, wins the ball in midfield, in the centre circle, lays it to the right hand side, picked up now by Adam Boys, playing on the right flank. It's played out to the right flank now for Hurst, who's come forward from full back, and this time his touch lets him down and he's furious with himself, and now Tranmere can come down on the counter-attack, snuffed out by Danny Boschel. Throw in to be Tranmere's. About level with the centre circle. Hurst needs to get back into position. We're right back down at the moment, and Tranmere now keep the ball moving on that side as they attack down the left. The ball's played square. Liam Dickinson tries to close down, but again Tranmere just knocking the ball around, not with the same urgency that the fans would like them to have. Just trying to craft open another cross into the box, and in the end the ball is intercepted by Norburn, who's in left back position at the moment, and ships it long. McNulty nods it back into Tranmere's possession, and then Harris's ball is poor, intercepted by Boys, finds Gavin Rothery. Rothery's first touch is a little loose and allows the challenge to come in thumpingly from Jay Harris, but Guiseley win possession down the right hand side. Danny Boschel's legs might not be up to the task of chasing that one down that right flank, and Nogan can just knock the ball back to Davies. Tranmere again begin to build up from the back. One each here at Prenton Park. 5 minutes to go plus stoppages. Wayne Brooksby is penalised for a challenge on Adam Meckie, who is bundled over, and now the white shirts will swarm into the box as they prepare to take their final substitute and bring him into play.
Yeah, it's Ben Tomlinson, the man that's coming on, so it's another striker on replacing Adam Meckie. For me, that's a little surprising. Adam Meckie's probably been, for me, one of the better players, and I think a few boos in amongst the applause.
Well, yeah, Tomlinson on and Meckie off, and the home crowd really didn't like that decision.
I'm not surprised, because Adam Meckie, to be fair to him, has been a pretty much constant thorn in the side of Guiseley.
The free kick is taken, lofted in towards the penalty spot. Stephen Drench is off his line. It's taken a deflection. It goes behind. The referee points to the goal kick. Stephen Drench, though, gambled, came charging out to try and punch it. He didn't get there. Tranmere head met it, according to the referee, and it's gone behind for a goal kick, and a bit of a let-off there.
Yeah, he's been watching Liam Dickinson on the fruit machines, gambling a bit too much there. There is a story behind that.
We bumped into the Guiseley team bus in Chester Services on the way across this morning, and they were just taking a little bit of a rest bite from the coach trip.
Leisure time.
Yes. Now Hurst on the right hand side plays the ball up towards the front line. Liam Dickinson battling. He's going forward when he should have been looking to win the ball. He was hoping the ball would follow its way through, but it seemed to take a wicked sort of bounce, and now Tranmere can counter-attack, and a rather hurried clearance there, attempt rather, from Andy Mangan. It was really poor actually from the Tranmere striker. He had more time on the ball and players in better positions around him. He passed it back to Stephen Drench in the end. We'll take that though. The clearance goes up, headed on by McNulty. Into Guiseley's half once again. Lawler with the header back in to the Tranmere half and headed on by McNulty, whose head seems to attract the ball at every occasion. The ball is found by Wayne Brooksby, and the substitute Ben Tomlinson a little over enthusiastic in attempting to win the ball, and Guiseley get the free kick in left back position. 3 minutes to go. Still the Lions are holding on here, one each. Great work from Guiseley in the second period. Adam Meckie just going his way down the tunnel, and the home fans applaud him. He's been a real live wire. This one goes up long towards Dickinson. Knocked on by Boys. In towards Rothery. Cleared. Now Guiseley have to defend this one. Good tackle comes in from Hurst. Just ahead of Norwood. Picked up again though. This time Tomlinson on the ball now for the home side as they press. Look to break down Guiseley in these last couple of minutes. The ball into the box now will be delivered. It's crossed up towards the 6-yard box, and there's a chance shout for a penalty as I think it's Taylor Fletcher who goes over in the box. The cross is made. It bounces off. Well, I think it bounces off Brooksby and then back off the Tranmere player, and it is a goal kick to the Lions.
I'm not convinced that did go out of a Tranmere player, in honesty.
To be fair, there's not too much complaint. I think the Linesman's got that one right, and There was a big shout for a penalty. I'm not sure, was it Andy Mangan who went down in the box?
Yeah, which for me tells you the story.
Yeah. One each now with a minute and a half of normal time. There's going to be a fair amount of stoppages, I would anticipate, this afternoon. Tranmere.
What have we seen? Five substitutions, a couple of stoppages.
Yeah. There was that Danny Boschel and Anthony Dudley moment. Liam Dickinson, meanwhile, trying to battle to win the ball inside the Tranmere half. Free kick given against Gavin Rothery. A knock on someone like Tomlinson.
There's going to be a booking.
And I think Gavin Rothery is going to go in the book. Referee is going to make his second yellow card. It looked like he was a little late. Frustrated. And Gavin Rothery joins Liam Hogan in the referee's book. That's one yellow card apiece. One goal apiece. 1 minute to go. And Tranmere have got all their players, almost 11 players, inside the Guiseley half now. Only the goalkeeper, Scott Davies, rests as he's midway through his own half. He lofts this one long. It's up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Good header from Danny Lowe, knocks it out. It's going to be a throw-in for Tranmere. McNulty rushes across to take it. 30 seconds of normal time to go. He lays it back to the goalkeeper. Frustrating groans from the home fans. It's lofted forward. Loads of bodies up there for Tranmere to aim for. Guiseley having to get back into shape. Played in by Gary Taylor-Fletcher. Headed away by Hurst. Can Guiseley make something of the counter-attack now? Because it's picked up here by Norburn and then into the feet of Rothery. He's tackled, but he concedes a throw. And now there's a bit of a tussle inside the dugout. Right on full time, and the referee is going to have to unpick things, as I think Gavin Rothery was just trying to prevent a quick throw from being taken.
I think Rothery fell into and out of the dugout there.
Rothery actually makes a good interception from the throw and clears upfield. Liam Dickinson chases the ball down. How many minutes? Ball up on towards the edge of the 18-yard box of the Guiseley penalty area. It's headed cleared. Guiseley still camped inside their own 18-yard box at the moment as Tranmere press. Harris nods it forward, cleared by Hurst. He could have done more with that. It's played back in towards Norwood. Jake Lawler comes out. Hurst gets a touch. It's taken down now by Taylor-Fletcher. He's looking for options ahead of him. He chips it forward, only finds ahead of Danny Boschel down the right-hand side. I'll find out exactly how many minutes that was in a moment. 4, thanks Chris. The ball on the right flank, McNulty. Good tackle from Danny Boschel. Stops McNulty in his tracks. And then is bundled over by the Tranmere defender. And Guiseley get a free kick.
Oh, you see to breathe. We're into that added time now. I'm not surprised he didn't see how many minutes went up, by the way, because he held the board up, but there was nothing on it. It was a blank board. Thankfully, the man with the PA tannoy must have known at least.
Stephen Trench comes out to take the free kick in left back position. Mark Bauer out of his dugout screaming, get back in your goal. The ball cleared from Danny Lowe up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. As guys who make a half-hearted attempt to attack, really. It was no more than that. Swiftly we need to get back into shape because Gary Taylor-Fletcher has picked the ball up. Slip from Hurst. Norwood through. Great save from Stephen Trench. No! Penalty awarded to Tranmere Rovers. Stephen Drench came charging out after the slip from Hurst. He's caught the attacker going away from goal. Referee pointed to the spot. And Guiseley, having fought so hard in this game, now face a penalty.
There's not going to be a booking. And my colleague to my right up here in the press box, I don't know who's taking this one, but he's just told me that Andy Mangan missed his last penalty. But I think this is going to be called for Norwood.
Yeah, Norwood, the man who earned the penalty for Tranmere Rovers, will take the penalty. 2.5 minutes into stoppage time. 2.5 minutes of the 4. A minute and a half. Guys who are in sight of the point here. Penalty will deny them surely. Or will it? Yes. And Andy Mangan puts the ball into... James Norwood, puts the ball into the back of the net. Cruel end for the Lions. A second goal in injury time to deny Guiseley a point surely now with only a minute left to play. And Andy Mangan scores from the penalty spot. And it's now Tranmere Rovers 2, Guiseley 1.
Well, it's a well-struck penalty from James Norwood, but it's so cruel so cruel on Guiseley. It really is.
I think I said Andy Mangan, James Norwood there, but well, the Lions are just about done enough. Just about done enough. And then Hurst slip. Norwood was through on goal. Great. There was only one choice really for Stephen Drench. He had to go in for the ball, and he caught James Norwood at that moment. And Tranmere get the second. And the Guiseley fans away to our left are applauding the side and urging them on for one last effort. And it's played forward and up, and Guiseley 2-1 down now. I feel the game is up. Tranmere hoof the ball clear, and it's going to go rolling out of play for a Guiseley throw just up by the corner flag inside their own half, and they'll try and encamp the Lions one last time. Jake Lawler will leave this one for Hurst. What do you say about that then, Chris?
Oh, what can you say? What can you say?
Third successive defeat facing Guiseley now as Tranmere come forward down the left-hand side again. Rather elaborate dive from Norwood, but he does win the free kick. And Guiseley...
Oh, get away.
Well, Hurst is going to go in the book, I think, for showing dissent. I doubt it could be the free kick originally, so the third player in the book, James Hurst. Guiseley now with just a matter of seconds left to 8. We're into 5 minutes of the added 4. And Tranmere are in no hurry to take this one. 2-1 up with that late penalty after Guiseley almost looked like they'd done enough. And the final whistle goes. And after an excellent first half in which Guiseley scored with a Danny Boschel volley from the edge of the 18-yard box, 2 goals from James Norwood in injury time in each half have been enough to give Tranmere Rovers the 3 points this afternoon and consign Guiseley to the third successive league defeat. Finished here at Prenton Park, Tranmere Rovers 2, Guiseley 1.
Well, I'm still slightly speechless, honestly, Colin. I'm not entirely sure what you can say about that, to be honest, because it's just such a disappointing way to end. Stephen Drench, he came out, he didn't really have much more of an option, to be honest, than to try and go for the ball. He's just taken out the onrushing Norwood, and he wasn't going to even hesitate at the option of being able to go down in that situation. And it's a very, very cruel way to go. I suppose the silver lining on that is Drench didn't receive any form of booking. In those situations, you occasionally see a keeper go as well, but, you know, as it is, that hasn't happened. After what was a really bright opening 25 minutes, half an hour or so, where unusually for Guiseley, we got ahead, we took the lead. You know, that just brought the pressure on, though, from Tranmere. In their run of form, they were looking at this as a way to take 3 points. And as it is, it's been harder than I think Tranmere will have first thought it should have been. It's been a good performance, but once again, we end up coming away with nothing.
Bitterly disappointing way to end the game, but let's not forget what a superb performance Guiseley have put in today. I mean, the disappointment about the result has to be tempered about the spirit, the commitment, and some of the individual performances today were a top class. In particular for me, Danny Boschel.
Yeah, he's had a really good game now. He did his best to try and run the show for Guiseley from the centre of the park, and obviously got himself the goal as well, which he struck very, very well on the volley. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
Great support again as well from the Lions fans. 113 coming across on a bitterly cold afternoon, and unfortunately not able to witness the Guiseley hold on for that point that it looked like we were going to do. Let's go through the final scores from the games we've been tracking today in the league. The local teams: Tours, Leeds 0, Rotherham 1. Both teams down to 10 in that. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Huddersfield 1, Scunthorpe 0, Bradford 2. Now the Vanarama National League: Aldershot 0, Wrexham 1, full-time score. Altrincham 1, Borehamwood 0. Braintree Kidderminster was postponed earlier today. Cheltenham 1, Forest Green 1. Chester 1, Woking 2. Dover 3, Barrow 1. Lost 3-1 and they were reduced to 10 men today. Eastleigh 0, Grimsby 1, still a latest score. Gateshead 1, 10-man Halifax 4. So Halifax, who were reduced to 10 men in the first half, played most of that game with 10, and somehow have won that game 4-1. Macclesfield 2, Bromley 0. Torquay 1, Lincoln City 3. Tranmere Rovers 2, Guiseley 1. Welling 0, Southport 1. And in the National League North, the Vanarama National League North, Nuneaton 2, A.F.C. United 2. Alfreton 1, Boston United 2. Brackley 2, Stalybridge 3. Bartford Park Avenue 1, Hensford 1. Corby 0, Harrogate Town 3. Curzon Ashton 4, Chorley 2. Lowestoft 2, Stockport 2. North Ferriby 3, Fylde 0. Solihull 0, Gloucester 0. Tamworth 2, Gainsborough 0. And Worcester City 3, Telford 0. So what does that mean for Guiseley's season? Another defeat. Well, of course, not be overly welcome, and it does see the Lions now in 18th position, 26 points from 23 games. 3 points ahead of Welling, 23 from 19. Boreham, 20 from 22. Southport move up a place with that 1-0 lead as they're having currently against Welling. If it finishes like that, they'll be 18 from 20. 16 from 21 for Torquay. 14 from 21 for Kidderminster. Halifax 13 from 21 with that fine 4-1 victory. They're now 7 points in touching distance of safety there. Cheltenham at the top. A 1-1 draw today with Forest Green leaves them 44 from 22. Forest Green 43 from 22. Grimsby 1-0 winners over Eastleigh 39 from 22. Dover 39 from 22. Lincoln 38 from 21. Wrexham 37 from 21. Eastleigh 37 from 21. Tranmere are in 10th, 33 from 21. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a hard lesson of defending in injury time and a brave effort from the Lions, but bitter disappointment in stoppage time. We've heard that record before, haven't we? It's finished here. Tranmere Rovers 2, Guiseley 1. We'll be back next week for the home game against Bromley. Hope you can join us then. Thanks for joining.